Hello and welcome to a special episode of Level Up and Friends. This is the show where usually those of us from the comic book and video game store, Level Up Entertainment, grab a couple of friends and we get a topic and we discuss it for the week. However, this week our topic is us, the most selfish,
my favorite topic,
the most selfish kind of podcast you can do. The reason we're doing we're going to do kind of a Level Up Entertainment retrospective this week because our store just turned 13 years old and it feels like should take a moment to kind of reflect back on such an anniversary now that we're a teenager.
You only turn it once, right?
But I've got, so I'm your usual host here, Scott, and I've got the store founders and owners, Sean and Greg here.
Hey.
That's Greg.
Yeah.
I'm Sean. Hi.
Hi, guys. How's it going?
Sorry, I keep forgetting that it's not on video.
It's an audio medium.
Yeah, it's an audio medium mainly, even though there is a YouTube component.
Yeah. It's weird because I just see myself, so I'm just thinking it's all video.
Yeah, full disclosure, we recorded on Zoom, so we can see each other talking and things.
So yes, hi, I'm Greg.
Yes.
It's Greg.
So 13 years ago, you guys changed the world.
Wow.
Sure.
It's never been the same. Yeah.
I've always said that about our little store, but so few people would listen.
Yeah.
Well, I
was
South Jersey, but if you want to say the world, I'm cool with that too. So
Well, South Jersey's my whole world. But yeah, so obviously you guys decided to start a business together. Can you talk a little bit about why you decided to start your own business? Because I know the answers, but for the listeners at home,
you can tell this first part, your story first, Sean.
So Greg and I worked together at EBX, which was the downstairs offshoot of EB Games.
As a quick little aside, though, as a quick thing,
go ahead.
I poached Sean from Suncoast because I used to go there. And I was looking for somebody else. I was a manager at EBX. Sean was always talking about video game stuff, so I offered him a job. I don't know if you were happy there or not, or just more money or whatever it was, but I poached him from there.
My goal in getting a job at Suncoast was to eventually get a job at EB Games. So it's like trying to work my way through the mall to get to video games, because I had high ambitions in my early 20s. But Greg and I worked together for a while at what was ostensibly EB Games. And we would talk about what we would do if we had our own store. And that was something that I had always dreamed of doing. Like as a kid, there was a local video game shop in Summers Point called Microplay. And I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. And it wasn't anything fancy. It was just a store that had wire racks with video games on it, glass cabinets, systems. But, it had Nintendo, Super Nintendo. It was if you remember Microplay. Not Microplay. It is Microplay what I'm talking about. Edit this part. What was the other place?
Funkoland. I remember, yeah.
Thank you. I was trying to think of Funkoland. It was a lot like that, but it was more independently owned. And it just, over time they went out of business for whatever reason. And, many years later, I was like, I really want something like that in the area. And Greg and I would talk and fantasize. And then eventually I was like, let's just do it. Let's just do this. Let's figure it out. Figure out what we'd have to do to make it happen. If I'm remembering it correctly, Greg was on board pretty early on.
To just kind of jump in to kind of tell you my story up to the point where Sean just stopped. So kind of the same thing as a kid. I loved reading the comics, and back when I'm a little older than Sean. By a couple of years. So, it was really, even at this point, even when Sean was younger, it still wasn't a cool thing to play video games or read comics. But I remember just thinking, not hiding it, but the weekend just be playing video games, getting out of else. But I always wanted to have, I was always thinking to myself, well, I like video games, I like comics. Why don't, just something together? And this is again, back in high school, this is something I just dreamed about, I was like, that's a cool idea. Never thinking, be able to do that. And like Sean said, we worked together, and then we somehow got to talking how we both had the kind of same sort of dream to do it. And like you said, we figured it out, and it seemed to, it seemed to work in our heads.
Yeah, it made so much sense, right? at the time, the idea of like a hybrid store that sold video games and comic books just didn't really exist, and it seemed like such an obvious idea. Like
I feel
clearly
like,
we weren't. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the same thing. Like that's what like kind of like how Scott joked in the beginning how he changed the world. I feel like we were kind of like the forefront of that, because I did research. Not that the internet was all that great back then, but like I did my research trying to figure out was there hybrid stores like this, and there was very few that I could find. You know, not everybody was on internet, not everybody had Facebook or whatever it was, or MySpace or whatever the store, stores had or whatever. But it was hard to find, a store that had kind of like what we were thinking about doing. So kind of, and then our store around here, we had, we're not going to name any names, but like we had a lot of people complain to us they didn't like the local store that was around here at that point also. So we kind of thought we had an opportunity to do something cool.
Yeah, and we did a lot of research in like 2006 about where we would put it and what we would do with it. And originally we had this like really big idea that it was going to have a coffee shop built into it. And that's something that you've now seen other shops do. Like there's a shop in Philly whose name escapes me, but there's a hybrid comic and board game and coffee shop. But we had to drop that pretty early on when we realized how complicated it was going to be just opening a retail store. And that like space was limited. Like to give you an idea of like 2006, if you remember way back then when the economy was actually really good, especially in South Jersey, it was booming. And retail spaces were a premium. There weren't a lot of them. Like our options were limited when we talked about where we would open. And we kind of like being younger at the time weren't taken very seriously. So there weren't a lot of options, right? Like it was basically like whatever nobody else had been interested in for some time was where we ended opening.
Yeah, it was part of that. Like nobody wanted to take us seriously or didn't want to deal with us because we were both in our mid-20s, early mid-20s, whatever. And the guy that was helping us had no idea what we were or what we tried to do. So I think he really stymied the look. Like he was supposed to help us find a place to rent, and like he just didn't understand what we were. Even though we told him specifically we're a comic book video game store. He kept on saying we were an arcade. Like we're not.
Yes.
So I think he really dropped the ball on that because people didn't want arcades. Like actually in our first lease, it said we weren't allowed to have an arcade. Like we're not an arcade. Like we never.
Yeah.
We're probably maybe an arcade, like a main machine in there, but that's all we were going to do. But like, I think that was part of the problem is that our guy we were trying to help us find a place didn't know what we were doing, so he misrepresented us, and people didn't want us to have kids hanging out at their strip centers or wherever and be an arcade. So I think that's
right. Oh, absolutely. It's so funny that you brought that up because I had forgotten that like the realtor was so insistent that we were an arcade that's how it got into the lease because it was like we never said we were doing that. And there was this weird perception of video games at the time, which is it's so strange to think back, and like realize that video games came about in a time where just enough people, like they grew to prominence so quickly that within a single generation, like there were still older people who were, landlords and people who worked at banks who didn't really understand what video games were in 2007. Like it's not that long ago, right? Like it was still to them, like their impression was Pac-Man in an arcade. And
and I remember too, the first bank we went to, I know what bank it was. I'm not going to say the name because that's not nice to do that. But
try not to call them up.
No, put them on blast, Greg. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
But they like didn't want to let us borrow money because they first of all we were young, and two, they didn't believe in what we were doing, and then thankfully we met up with the SBA and Joe Molyneux, which is just great.
Joe Molyneux,
he helped us a ton, and but that's a story a little bit later on in this conversation. But like there was a lot of, like Sean was saying, there was a lot of people even in 2006 2007 didn't really understand how big video games were and what they were and what kind of store we were trying to be.
I remember when you first told me about it, because when Greg, you were still at EBX in the mall and I was at Suncoast at this time. So obviously we all became friends with each other because we're near each other and we all had similar interests.
Bunch
And
of
you
mall
like
rats.
and like Bender before you came in and were like, I'm gonna start my own video game store with comic books and stuff. Hey, if you need a hand, let me know. And then here we are 13 years later.
That's pretty much what you said, Scott. I think that was verbatim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he slammed a beer and threw it on the ground and walked out.
And I was working a corporate gig, so I didn't care. But yeah, so that's, I guess that's a little bit about you guys wound up being in Northfield in the Pep Boys shopping center.
That was actually Egg Harbor Township, right, Sean, at Northfield?
Was
Technically,
it?
Egg Harbor Township.
All right, I always called that area Northfield still.
That's because the border is right there on Hingston Avenue.
Okay.
And if you look at the map, it's like Tilton Fitness is Northfield, and that shopping center is EHT, and then the CVS is EHT, and I think Tilton Inn is Northfield. So it's just like right at that intersection. It's
So if you didn't say, I don't think we said this right, but our first store, if nobody knows, we were out at the Tilton Times Plaza on Tilton Road.
Yeah, it's on Tilton Road.
Egg Harbor Township. We were behind the Pep Boys, literally. Because like someone was saying, like earlier, like we couldn't find the space because nobody wanted to rent to us, and space was prime then. So basically, I had to take a spot that was hidden from view from everybody.
Okay. I used to say it was like it's like Neverland. You had to believe it existed to even find it. Yeah.
It is so hilariously bad, because even a year later, every shopping center had vacancies in 2008. But in 2007, we were like, well, it's clean because they had recently renovated it.
The Great Recession happened 6 months after we opened.
Yes.
Thanks, Obama.
And then one more thing real quick, which is a fun anecdote. When we finally did get this place and we signed the lease and we started moving in, we had to put in our own carpet because it wasn't part of the lease. It was just a bare concrete floor. And we were like, no, we need a carpet. Greg knows where it's going.
Yeah.
And we got a carpet installed, and it's been a while, so I don't remember the exact amount of time later. But let's say within a week of putting that carpet down, the entire store flooded. Now, this was before we had any fixtures in there. It was just carpet and I think maybe slat wall. And we went in there one morning and there was just, like maybe an inch or two of water on the ground. And we called the landlords. They were like, the whole store flooded. What happened? They were like, I don't know.
And they didn't take care of us. We
Nothing.
had dry. We rented a dryer, or we hired somebody to dry the carpet or something.
We hired someone to come in and clean it. But that was just like we had that big fan. They were blowing it out. And it always kind of smelled a little bit.
I totally forgot about that, actually.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that too. But yeah, that really affected that first space for its entire existence.
I just, we used to joke that we were cursed, and I just feel like, we have had such a great run and have been very lucky and blessed. But at the same time, we have had so many things happen that are just like hilariously, like really.
You can't tell the good times unless you have the bad times. Well, speaking of being blessed, we've been very fortunate to work with some great people throughout the years. And I reached out to basically everybody who ever worked with us. And almost all of them are able to make it tonight. So I'm going to start bringing some of them in.
It's just like this. Wait, are we dying? Is this like people?
It's Brian.
Yeah.
Okay,
oh, right.
It's Becca. It still says Brian on her screen there. So Becca's still with us. Becca, is your sound working?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Hey.
Oh, I love the Gundam wing wall scroll behind you. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Remember showing we saw roll scrolls?
Yes.
Yes, I remember some.
We still
have some.
There's still some. There's still some in the back room. Yeah.
I found a Naruto one in my.
We should raffle those off some point. They're collector's items.
Leave a comment on this video or whatever podcast.
You guys want some wall scrolls? We got them.
Yeah. But Becca, how long have you been with us now? Because you're still with us today.
I don't know. Don't make me count.
Yeah, don't remind her.
We were still downstairs.
When
I think when you were
still downstairs because originally your now husband Brian was working at the store, and he got a big boy job, and you were working at Best Buy at the time, and you're like, hey, I would like to leave. So like, all right, well, Brian's leaving. You can just come on. And then
Basically, yeah.
since.
You were working at Best Buy, right, Becca?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was terrible.
Yeah. I'm better than Best Buy.
Speaking of working at Best Buy.
Oh,
What?
no, more people.
Oh, nice.
Say from Best Buy, we just got Sean Finner and started working back at the store again.
Yay!
Now
That's
we have
awesome.
Sean and his girlfriend Nina, who's similar situation. She just left so Sean could come on as Becca and Brian. How you guys doing?
We're great. How's everybody here?
Good.
So far, so good.
Very good.
I love your Eevee. Where did you get that Eevee?
Yeah,
Thank you.
kind of our
my
bed frame
God.
prisoner.
He's just hanging on there. It's pretty cool.
It's so good. My daughter would flip for that. Yeah.
Well, maybe we should carry it.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, so Sean, how's you been back? What now? 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think so.
Has it been 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Something like
I
that.
forget, Sean, when did you first start working with us?
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
that
You
2
worked
years
for us
ago?
like it was was you holiday time like years ago?
Yeah, it was Black Friday season, holiday time, 2016, I think it was.
That long ago? Oh, man.
I think.
I would
'cause
think it might have been 2017 because I think that
Maybe.
was the first holiday season I wasn't at the store. And
Okay.
you were there, and like there was a different Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have vague memories
I
of
think
like
so.
we replaced Sean with a different Sean.
Still, that's a long time ago. Wow.
Yeah, I wore your lanyard. That's all. That was it. It was
Yeah.
that simple.
And then, oh yeah, no, you still wear Sean's name tag.
Yeah, it's there.
I mean, Sean's
Unless the other Sean takes it.
Sean's a Sean.
Yeah, but I don't schedule you guys at the same time, so it works out. Nina, you started with us last year, right?
Yeah, I think last August.
Yeah, I want to say summertime.
It was
It's been a
definitely
year.
summer.
Yeah, but you also stuck with us through the weird times now.
Yeah, it was summer because I remember I'd hired somebody else because John was working the beach, so I needed somebody else to help cover to work on the weekend or during the week during summertime because John needed most of that week off. So
Mhm.
yeah, so it was last summer I think.
Okay. Well, we were talking a little bit earlier about all the different jobs we were working at the mall. So that, of course, leads me to our resident living legend here.
Living legend.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Who are we bringing on? This is great.
Oh, yes.
Oh, no connecting.
We might have audio. We might have
Oh
technical
yes.
difficulties here.
I just opened the
Wes is the
participants
oldest, is
panel.
the old man in the group. Can you hear us, Wes?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
hear you.
Hi
I am
Wes.
the old man. What's up, guys?
He's so old he doesn't have a video.
Wes, how long have you known Sean and Greg?
Oh man,
Oh no.
years.
You've known me since Maite was a baby.
You both of you have seen my kids grow up, which is
Yup.
scary.
You've known
Oh.
Wes has known me from August of 1999 because that's when I got hired at EB Games in Deptford Mall.
Nice.
Yes. Greg worked at the t-shirt kiosk in Deptford Mall. He was
Well,
17 and
work's a
there.
strong word though, Wes. I would just hang out at EB Games for like most of my shifts. So
Classic.
And
What?
Sean was at Suncoast.
Yep. Everybody remembers that. But before that, I used to pre-order games from you
Uh,
I do.
at EV Games, like
Yeah, the story-
in the late '90s.
Story I like to tell with Wes because he worked at GameStop for so long is Wes, you sold me my first pack of Pokemon cards.
Pokemon cards.
Yeah. I remember that. I got a deck because I got Machamp, and that's like my earliest memory with Wes.
I
That's
can
phenomenal.
remember when I met each of you, and it's they're all good memories.
Oh man.
Well,
I would
thanks.
say. And then I guess when Sean and Greg were finally able to start hiring people, like, well, we should probably get Wes on board.
I mean, well, no, one, I wonder what because
Yeah.
well, okay, let me tell you the story real quick about why I wanted to get Wes. Wes is a good guy no matter what.
Yeah, of
like
course.
Wes is a good.
Oh,
Like I love Wes, but like in this area, Wes is like Scott said, like everybody knows Wes. So like in my mind, I'm like,
Legitimate local celebrity.
yeah, in my mind, Wes is a great asset to have because he's such a nice person and everybody knows him. So that's like the short of why I wanted to hire. And he also when I told him that we were doing this, he also wanted to help out anyway. So he offered to help out, and it was definitely weird the first couple of times, like when he came into work and I was bossing him around. That was really weird because Wes was my
Kind of
at
awkward.
GameStop for 6-7 years probably, or 4 years. I had one moved out from a different one, but like Wes was always my boss when I was working for GameStop, and then he's my
I
colleague
never-
when we were managers.
Yeah, I never felt I never felt okay telling Wes to do something. I always felt like it should be the other way around. I'm like, sorry.
Weird,
You
yeah.
guys, hey, I work for you now.
Yeah.
Say, right now I have one more GameStop alum that I'll bring on.
Oh, hey, Tim.
Yes.
I forgot Tim worked at GameStop.
Oh yeah, I remember when Tim quit.
I thought we were talking about positive things.
It was positive when you quit. I mean, the good thing is you didn't pull a Rob East and curse out your
That is
curse out
true.
somebody.
That's
Your
very
cousin-
You
true.
don't curse out your boss actually, which is even better. Didn't you? Did you curse out your
No.
boss?
Hold on, let me see why I don't have video.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm just dying. That, like Greg's like, let me just air out how you guys got fired.
Well, I remember when
Okay,
I
because I wasn't around when
Yeah.
Tim did that. Because Tim was having a problem with whoever his boss was at the time was an idiot apparently.
Oh yeah, I remember the muscle dude, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I also worked under him at some point. But I remember when Tim told me, he was like, I'm leaving GameStop. He told me while I was working at the store back in the Tilton shopping area, he was just like, I think I'm going to leave. And I was like, well, you should probably get a job lined up if you're going to do that.
I just left.
Yeah, and that's fine too.
It worked out in the end.
You were so much happier after you left.
It's very true.
Weren't we all though who worked at GameStop or EB
Oh my
or whatever?
god.
Best Buy?
Except
It'll
Wes.
always be EB.
Same day.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
that
that's when
shit
everything
good?
when GameStop took over. That's when it got really bad.
Yeah,
That's-
did
Not a GameStop podcast or an EB Games podcast.
We didn't talk about how I quit. We should talk about how I quit while we're on
Oh,
that
yeah.
subject.
Please.
Because like I feel like that's a pivotal part of
Definitely.
the,
I kind
the
of forgot
level
about
of
that.
lore.
yeah.
So
Is it? Yeah.
Greg and I had been talking about doing this for a while. We had been actually doing planning, yada yada yada, and flash forward to like 2000 and it was December 2006.
Mhm.
Just going into 2007. So I was working at the Summers Point GameStop, and it was a couple days after Christmas, and we had a line out the door. Like not just out the door, but it was like it sneaked to the back of the store and then back around to the front and then out the door.
Remember
And it
those
was like,
days?
yeah. It's almost surreal to think about a period of time when there would have been like 40 people crammed in a tiny little store. Like now I'm like, oh my God, without masks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they all have COVID? What happened?
Yeah, sharing the same air. Ugh.
But- Right. But anyway, so it was like after closing, and I had somebody who they walked up to the counter, and they had a PSP, and they wanted to replace it because they had bought the warranty for it. And I was like, I'm really sorry, we don't have any PSPs to replace this with. It's like a couple days after Christmas, we're really tapped out. And the guy just flipped out, right? Like flipped out. And it was like out of warranty too, and like clearly smashed. Like, it was just like, it made you wonder what this guy had been doing waiting in line this whole time to do this thing. But so if you've ever seen Clerks, it was very reminiscent of the scene from Clerks where Dante's getting all the cigarettes thrown at him because the guy starts like egging on all the other customers. There's a full store, maybe like 40 people, and he's like, this guy's ripping me off. He's like, they're like, hey, give him what he wants. What are you doing? Yeah, come on, let's get this line moving. You know, people are cursing and shouting like this. The whole thing erupts, and I was like, all right, well,
Yeah.
and then I put in my 2 weeks, and that was that. And I was like, Greg, we're gonna do this. We're doing this now. And that January, we like actually incorporated the business and applied for the loan and found a location and all of that. Because I was just done.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
I know my GameStop career overlapped with my Level Up one for a while. I was working at both stores in the mall. And then we got a new store manager who made everyone miserable upstairs. And he cursed me out because my car wouldn't start one day and I didn't have anyone lined up to come in. And I told our assistant manager, I was like, don't put me on the schedule anymore. I'm not coming in. And I was just like, yep, I'm down here full time now.
Or human beings who had to live that life
Yeah.
and still do.
Yeah. So anyway, this is all the guests I currently have. I was wanted to do a Smash Brothers Everybody Is Here thing, but not everyone I was trying to get like 40 schedules to align, so it wasn't going to happen. And some people might come and go as we do this episode. So, you know, we'll say goodbye to people and say hello to some more as we go. But I wanted to stay on that we have a few people here, and we've kind of set up the genesis of the store, no pun intended. You know, I want to kind of share some of our stories from the business. It's 13 years is a long time. I was thinking about it. There's been 3 weddings from people that worked in the store. There's been three kids.
Yeah.
Love, you know, like there's
Wow.
a lot of things happened, you know, in 13 years. My
We've all got
sexual
13 years
orientation
older.
changed, so like, you know,
Location is what, three times? Three times. We have 4th location, 3rd, 2 times.
yeah, we've moved 4
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Two distinct areas, but yeah, so a lot of things have happened, and, you know, we kind of want to share some of our stories. I know, Sean, you were mentioning the line out the door at GameStop, but I remember when we first started doing Free Comic Book Day when we moved to the mall. I think that first one we did is when we had the line out the door like not just the door of the store, outside
All
the door
day.
of the mall all
What
day
was that?
long.
Was that the Larry Hama year, or was that the year?
I think that was the first year we had Larry Hama, but there was like barely. It was like Larry Hama and like Jen Tracy.
Yeah, we had decided to make it a thing. We were like, let's do something and make it like a whole day. And we looked for a guest, and we got a guest, and we'll skip over some of that. But we didn't really expect it to have that turnout.
No.
We weren't
It was a
prepared
nice
for that
surprise.
at all.
I remember when the first Free Comic Book Days we tried doing in the old location. It was we had the 3 local artists or creators, whatever, and nobody came in that. So maybe if 3 people in the store all day. It was so
Felt so
embarrassing.
bad for him. Like, oh yeah, no, I felt so bad for him. But we would get balloons, you know, and we were like, yeah, Free Comic Book Day.
I remember it might have been the first Free Comic Book Day when you opened. This is back when me and my comic book friends would have a routine on Free Comic Book Day where we go to a bunch of different comic shops, and we went to you guys first. It was Kendall and I, and we were there first thing in the morning, and you guys were still setting up, and it was like a rough time, and we're like, ugh.
I remember this.
Yeah, that was the first one. We just had comics on a table, but we were just going around to different stores to take care of. You might have had sales too.
Well, it turns out that we had to learn the lesson that if you want people to show up, you have to advertise.
Yeah, that's it. I was going to say exactly.
It was like this is a life pro tip from a pro. Get a notebook or record this. You know, you need to advertise your business and events.
Yeah, that was a huge problem when we first opened. I thought that things would just like, oh, we're selling video games, people will show up.
We really thought word of mouth was going to carry it. It was like very, very naive and adorable looking back. Like, oh, we're going to do it.
The only time, though, the word of mouth ever carried is when we started selling games early.
Yeah.
That's when
This is true.
You still get asked questions
Allegedly.
about that. Yeah.
Allegedly. I'm sorry, allegedly.
Yeah, nothing's proven.
We never sold Halo or Call of Duty or any systems early.
That's so worth talking about, though, because that was such an important part of that kept us alive in those early years.
Yeah.
Because we've really wanted to be a video game store, and we didn't realize how hard it would be to just sell video games. Like, to just give you a little bit of detail of what it's really like, if video games still existed in physical format, which we all know they don't, you would say, like, I'd want 20 copies of BioShock from your distributor. And your distributor would be like, we can do 10. You know, and because it would turn out that larger companies like GameStop, Best Buy, Amazon would buy up from the actual manufacturers and publishers huge swaths of the inventory before it would get released to anybody else. And the distributors that we had access to would be below that. So there would be big games that we would be gearing up for a huge release and trying to drum up support for. And then, you know, right before it came out, we'd find out we'd get maybe half of our pre-orders, or like just enough for our pre-orders and not an extra dollar, like game more.
And the funny thing about that is, like Sean's saying, like it went to like our distributors, and we at that point the one distributor we were using was the second largest distributor of video games in North America.
Yeah,
second largest, and we still couldn't get half of what we ordered half the time on time. But that's not at that point we could get them on time. Sorry.
No, so we could get them on time. But but what would happen is that once in a while they would call us and be like, "We've got Call of Duty early," and we'd go, "Okay, what do we have to do to get it?" And they were like, "Just come get it." And we'd ask if there was restrictions on selling it early, and they said no. And I think that first one was Call of Duty 4. Was the first time that we encountered that.
It might have been.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was like because Call of Duty 4 was a breakout hit. It was because
Yeah.
That's
that was
Modern
before
Warfare.
Call of Duty. Yeah, before Call of Duty became that like mainstay yearly release. Modern Warfare kind of like sparked that, and we were like, sure, let's give it a shot. So I drove up to New York to get it, and word spread immediately. Once like Greg was posting on, I guess it was Facebook at that time. Maybe it was something else. I remember us posting about having it early,
Hi,
and like
Facebook.
word spread really fast. Like, I mean, we sold out. I mean, we didn't buy enough. And then that kind of proceeded for like there were certain video game distributors or I'm sorry, publishers who would not have street dates on their games, and there would be no serious consequences if you broke.
Well, technically, they would sell us the game. It would be like either No Name Game or like Scooby Doo, or like they knew what they were doing. Like, because on our invoice, it'd always be like a different game.
True. But like they felt like they could get away with it, right?
Yeah.
You know, like but it wasn't for every game. But like once in a while we'd get one, and like that's what we became known for a while.
And I remember it was which Call of Duty was it where GameStop threw a hiss fit, and that's why we couldn't get them early anymore. It was like Call of Duty.
It was either Black Ops or Modern Warfare 2.
It was Modern Warfare.
Yeah,
I think it was
one
Modern
of
Warfare.
those. But yeah, it was always
We walked around with brownies and other random
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was at the mall. That's right, because that was the year after Sandy where I had to like rush back from
that-
New York.
Was that the midnight
held
release
us
that
there.
we did?
Yep.
Yeah, I
Yep.
remember
We
that.
were forced to hold it for midnight.
Yeah, as I remember,
Yeah.
you had to go to New York to get the games, and I had to. I was staying behind at the store to get it ready, and I had like a panic attack. I was like, "Oh my god, what if Sean doesn't come here with this? We're gonna have all these people waiting, and like waiting."
It
for
was.
stuff."
It was
Yeah.
close.
It was close. It was
And
close. I think I rolled in at like 11:30,
Yeah, and that's when I got into a fight with all of the GameStop managers that made me quit, and all the GameStop fans were there heckling our fans and stuff. I'm like, man, I'm so don't miss going there. Like,
What
our
wasn't
customers are just so much better. I'm not just saying that because this is essentially a propaganda podcast for our shop, but it really,
Tim,
it
were
really
you one of the
is.
ones who got harassed going and like walking up and down with throwing people?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
at you?
I
Yeah.
would laugh, man, because it
Yeah.
was a mess. So GameStop waited for hours while we were through our line. We ran through everything.
Mm.
We were efficient.
And we had coffee and donuts.
Yeah.
Coffee Donuts, we had more left, and nobody wanted to get out of GameStop's line. They were just
Yeah.
laughing at us. For some
We were
reason.
like, come on in and buy it early. You don't have to wait in this line. We have
Yeah.
extra copies, and they'd be like,
Yeah.
You know,
At
I
one point, I
tweet
was like,
myself.
all right, enjoy the cold. Yeah. See?
And we were
outside.
selling them for $5 cheaper too at that time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
so
We were.
selling
The
for
first
$5 off,
72 hours.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh my god.
Oh
Yes.
man, that was so much fun though. Like, and it drove me insane at the time, but I look back on it so fondly. Like, I remember just being like white knuckled trying to drive home, like looking at the clock, like, all right, I can do this. I can do this. And like every time I'd hit traffic, we're like, no.
John, wasn't it that time too? They were making us wait till a certain time. Like we had to wait till like 11 to get it because we're so far away.
Yeah, this was the blowback from getting those games early. Was GameStop complained, like you mentioned, and then like just that release was like, we can't sell it to you before midnight, is what they told us. And you know, we're 2.5 hours away. There's no traffic. You can't sell it to us at midnight because I won't be home till 2 a.m. like or later. We have to have it earlier, and they're like, we can't do it. And like they were just saying that they had every intention of sending me home with enough time to get back, but only just enough time because they like kept coming over to me. Just to back up a second, this one distributor, it's in New York, it's in Long Island to be specific, and the front is just this warehouse. It's just this giant garage door and a little door next to it, and you go in, you have to get buzzed to go in because it's in a rough part of town. It's just like junkyards, and I mean it's actually gotten a little bit better recently, but it's not great. And you get buzzed in, and there's like a counter, and you can't really go any further than that. And behind that is where they like do payments and stuff. It's like barely an organization, right? Like it's just there's money and there's games and there's boxes and they put boxes and they take money. You know, it's so there was a whole group of retailers standing around like complaining about the fact that, you know, you used to be able to get it early. Why are you making us wait? I've got a store, you know, like full of people waiting for me to get back. complaining. And once in a while, they would like wave me over and be like, "How far away is your store?" I'd be like, "It's about 2.5 hours." I'm like, we'll get you out of here, But they're like, "Don't tell anybody else." So like then eventually it was like 8:30 or whatever that they decided it was safe to let me go, and they like waved me in and like gave me the bag and sent me out like the side door, and so like with just enough time to get back.
So with all that work, how much profit did we make on those games?
Maybe a couple $100.
Yeah, like it's not
For people don't know, you can make about $10 on a $60 game.
And that's if you sell it before it drops in price 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we sold it for $5 less to try to incentivize people, because like what was like ultimately we're talking about the difference of like $50-$60, and we saw it as like an opportunity to drive more people and be a cool store that did cool things that we could afford to do.
But then we realized that people only cared about themselves and never came back except for those games. Like
No, we're gonna say nice things because we have an awesome group of customers.
No.
Those people suck, and they.
Talk about the Call of Duty people.
Yeah, we lost every single one of those.
Yeah, they just bought that and moved on with their lives. So let's talk about something a little bit more positive that we started doing. We started doing like the bigger events. I know we've become more known for Free Comic Book Day, and obviously this year there's been complications, so we weren't able to deal with that, which I know has always been a lot of fun for us. I always love putting them on, and it's a real blur when you are there, but we start seeing like photos and things from social media and stuff. It's like, oh yeah, you see if people really have fun. People ask us about it all the time. So I figured we might want to talk about some of our favorite memories there. But first, I know Sean and Nina, you have kind of a special relationship with some of our events, where not only have you worked them, you've actually been like vendors and guests at them.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't believe we've never thought to ask you, how was that experience for you?
Sean, how was that?
Yeah.
I might have done a survey through Gmail. I don't know.
I've done surveys sometimes for people, but
yeah, we've done surveys.
No, it was awesome. Like I always absolutely loved it. It was because I know a lot of people in the area already, so like I would just post on Facebook like, "Hey, come to Level Up's Free Comic Book Day or whatever, and come see me, come buy my stuff, go get some free comics." And I would just get to see a bunch of people that I cared about and show off the cool stuff that I made, and I'd get to see you guys, and it was just always a really cool, really great atmosphere. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Yelp review, all that stuff.
All right, I'll put you on the schedule next week.
You get a bonus for that one.
I love it so much.
But you said something really cool, Sean, and I think that speaks to the success of the events we've had. Was that you would tell everybody that you knew to come out to it, and that's really how those things. Like we did advertise for these events. I joked before, but that word of mouth did matter because over time, we really got to know a lot of people, and a lot of really cool people. And I mean, personally, I miss them like crazy, not being in the store regularly. But you get to know so many people, and then they want to be a part of this community that you're building, and they invite their friends to be a part of that community, and you wind up with people reading comics for the first time, or just like making a connection with somebody else over something they like. And that's always been the whole point of the store. But even more so for the events, just these really cool, like hang out with friends and be nerdy for a little while.
The events are the way that we can really celebrate that, because we do have a community, and I see like we have a lot of regulars that we see very often, but it's mostly just kind of like more one-on-one. But the events are kind of how we can kind of bring everyone together a little bit more often, and not just in a purely we're a store, so I want you to buy things from us setting. And I know it's been a goal for a while to have like an event every month. And I know last year was the first year I think we actually did that every month. Obviously,
congratulations.
I wanted to keep the momentum going this year, obviously, but
thanks COVID.
Yeah, the world decided to punish our hubris.
Yeah, again,
COVID.
So.
Yeah.
It's funny, like kind of piggybacking on like Sean was saying, like it's crazy, not just events, but like I know we're talking about events, but as a quick aside, it's like how many people we've known for years and years who have kids who their kids are now 10, 11 years old.
Yeah.
And they come in and like it's just it's so cool to be able to see those people give show their love of the media and things we do to their kids, which is really cool.
I was about to say, Facebook this year showed me like, oh, remember your memories? And it was from our first free comic book day in the mall. It was Tim's stepdaughter winning something. I'm like, man, she's going to college this
Oh
year.
yeah, I forgot about that.
Right. It's a perfect example.
So I remember, Tim. I remember I said I was talking to you and Shannon. It's like, did you guys read? Because all the people who won it, it's of course somebody we know personally. It's like,
She was one of many.
I know.
She won a thing of a bunch of things.
It was just,
yeah.
It was funny the coincidences that happened like that. You know what I mean? Like I know there was nothing.
I absolutely did not plan that.
Oh,
We've always been really fair. We've always tried really hard to be fair.
We've never done that. We don't do that.
We were always like, we would actually bend over backwards to try to find ways to be more fair, to give things away. Because like somebody we knew would be the best, and you're like, oh no, we're gonna look bad, but it's really the best. You know, so that's why we
turned
made
into an argument a few times.
Well, that's why we started. That's why we started having other people judge things like contests for us.
Yes.
So we didn't have to worry about, because we'd be up like for the costume contest and stuff. We'd all get together like that night or the night after, and like argue for like 2 or 3 hours. Why this person's
forgot about we
better
did
than
that
this
first
person?
couple times.
Yeah, we would put it up on the TV in the den, and we'll like go through it one by one and just like argue. No, well, last one was way better.
It was I don't think there was ever like one of them that was like a solid consensus right off the bat.
Yeah.
If there was, I don't remember it, because the arguing was more fun. It was.
I forgot what I was going to say now. Oh yeah. So Wes, you still there?
I'm still here.
All right. Well, let me ask you this, like, because you're very personable, and you go around talking to a lot of our vendors, and you're really good at one-on-one. Like, I think Wes is one of the reasons why you have a lot of people who come back over and over again, at least especially our vendors, because Wes is so good with people, and we of course we all tend to each other. Like everybody, goes out and says hi and this and that, but like I said before, Wes is just so personable. Like I think like he's a real asset, and he's gotten a lot of people. Like he's gotten us to get what's his face DMC to the store.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was gonna say Wes got us arguably our biggest
guest, which is amazing. Like Wes worked on him for how long? 4 years, was it, Wes?
Yeah, how long were you talking?
It was like 6 years.
Yeah, and like when he showed up, like I was so starstruck. Cause like that was so like it was amazing. Like that you were able to do that for us. It was pretty crazy.
I think
whatever it takes to promote our stores.
It's so true though, because it's not just Wes, it's also like Scott and Becca and Tim and everyone else who's worked for us. Because
whoever works,
with few exceptions, we've always had people who have just like fit in with who we are and have been very friendly people who are great to talk to, and it's so important because I've always wanted our store to be a place people could feel comfortable walking into. I never wanted it to be one of those stores where you felt uncomfortable being in it, because a lot of comic shops, unfortunately, some comic shops can be like that, where it's claustrophobic or messy, or the person behind the counter is surly, or it's so high level nerdy that like you feel like you've walked into a different country. But everyone we've always ever had has been just part of that, welcoming and friendly and personal. I mean, Wes clearly is the best at that. But
no argument here.
Everybody's had a part of that, and it's been so important, and why we've been able to stick around when, maybe a retail store selling physical copies is not, the first idea of a successful business.
Not anymore.
In 2020, right?
It was pretty high. There was some money to be made, hopefully, but we didn't really capitalize on that, unfortunately. Well, because
I think we did. We did. I would say we did for quite a while, actually. But
to a certain extent.
But unfortunately, circumstances beyond our control. Point is, the staff we've had has made it possible to have people who really do care about the community we've tried to build. Yeah. It wouldn't have been possible with all the awesome people, because you and I are not enough.
It shows. It shows. The best thing is when customers come in and say, "We love what you guys do," or in Free Comic Book Day, they stop us and say, "Thank you for doing this." That makes it all worth it. And kudos to all of us, because we're all a part of it. I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, especially the day of on Free Comic Book Day, because we don't really get to enjoy the events as much as you might think we do, because we're working during it. And I know sometimes like those of us that are working store like don't get to leave the store and see things, but like the comments the day of is
That's got a half hour. Come on.
the comments the day of
Or Tim.
especially-
Tim's face.
Yeah.
Tim's
What?
face just got
A
this like.
half hour?
Yeah. But the
Old
comments
memories came rushing forward.
I feel like the comments the day of especially like really go to like re-energizing you, because by the end of the day when it's time to clean up, I'm just done.
Yeah.
But you got to like push through it because
It is.
we kind of ruined them all, so we need to fix it.
I
Well, that doesn't matter.
I have had both experiences now, which is a little jarring at first. When I first walked in, not an employee, just to enjoy the event. And it is definitely a different atmosphere, but it's still that same vibe of like just people enjoying the event and also each other. So it's something that sticks in that and like what we've done, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably swap stories all night about like people we interacted with who were negative or horrible in some way. But
There's so few.
But right, exactly. Listen, I wasn't gonna throw money, but like just comparing it to like Suncoast or GameStop, for instance, like I got abused regularly, and I think anybody who worked a corporate retail job can see that. People would say some really heinous stuff to you, and while once in a while that might happen at Level Up, it's just not like that. It's not the same at all. I mean, even though when we were like 2 stores apart, it's a different customer base because the people who come back and shop with are just awesome people. And on all the jerks.
I've always marveled at that because, again, I've worked a lot of corporate retail jobs. And, you're just, oh, God, you're abused by customers by there so bad. And for no real reason. Like, you have just as much reason to do that with us just because we're just someone that sells you there and we're there and you're mad about something.
I love when someone thinks they can and Greg would just drop the hammer on him and be like, you know what, I'm the owner. And you can.
I did that once, I think. I remember.
Yeah,
you've done it more than once, and it's always fun.
I think we've all
at
done
least
that once
twice
or
with me
twice.
there.
Yeah.
Oh, great. 'Cause I was never doing it once. So like, cool.
Like, it's only ever when someone would like really cross the line and get like a big right? And then you'd be like, get out.
I've done the thing where they were like, I want to talk to the owner, and I give them the number to the store, and then I pick it up in front of them. But like it's 99% of the time our customers are great. But it's that 1%. That's what makes that 1% stick out much more here. Because there's a million bad stories I had from when I worked at GameStop, but I don't remember any specific one. Because it was just my day all day long was just dealing with.
I catalog them. I have.
Yeah.
They're good party
Keep a diary.
material.
Yeah.
It's.
I mean,
remember parties, guys?
No,
Never having to come up with things to talk about at parties.
Mm.
No.
But,
I never lived that life.
speaking of parties, this isn't necessarily store related in general, but Tim, your wedding is one of my favorite memories I have of the group of us. I don't know how into detail we want to get, but because you'd worked with us and we've all been friends for so long, it was one of the few times that basically the whole store was able to get together in a purely social situation. Because usually we get together like this is tangentially related to the store. Like we'll get together and like do things, but like it's always got a little bit of like business attached to it. But that was one of the first times I remember. I think in a long time we had sat down just as a group of friends and were able to really enjoy one another's company. And then I danced with Travis, and that was awesome.
Same here. I hurt my back too.
I was gonna say almost everybody at some point had Travis on them in some way.
And the floor too, because he was doing the worm left, right, and center.
Yep.
So real quick, just to tie it back in even more to Level Up. For anyone who doesn't know Travis, he starred in one of our first commercials. Where
on your YouTube
we
page
had.
still. It's on our YouTube
It
page.
is
It's still on the YouTube page, yeah.
You can find it. It's the one where Travis is depicted as playing his Nintendo that violently bursts into flames, causing him to seek a replacement at Level Up after a somewhat surly wizard shows up and
The best.
Aha.
teleports him to the store. Played by my friend Jeff. The whole thing is one of my proudest achievements.
That was a good
That
commercial.
was.
Uh,
It is
T-
bad in exactly the way that local commercials should be, and I love it to this day. But Travis did such a phenomenal job.
It's a top 3
He's
commercial.
just getting a comedian set in the Sacramento area now.
Yeah, now he's a
Yeah.
real comedy guy.
You should include a link. You should include a link to his
I
web
will.
zones.
Let's say it's one of our top 3 commercials. I think let's talk about those real fast, I guess.
All right, let's talk about the
Mm.
commercials.
Let's talk about because this one we can't put on our YouTube page because we used copyrighted music. But we used to do retro movie nights at the our local theater. We were friends with the manager there, which if you've seen some of our team ups with Poorly Played Games, he was one of those. He's one of those guys, Fact Xanadu. But we did an Indiana Jones one where our friend Harry had an Indiana Jones cosplay, and we set up a thing where he took an NES Zelda cart because it's gold, and like he stole it from the store and like slid under the gate as it's coming down to stop him. It's one of the most fun shoots we did, and Becca was kind of like our director for that one.
Yes.
The pop you made
was.
of the pedestal that could rise and lower was amazing.
I recently moved and I had to throw it out because I was like, I really can't keep this cardboard box. It's just spray painted.
But it looks so good.
It is really good.
Wait, let's take a step back for a second. That's the most level up reaction to throwing something out. Well, like, no, don't throw that out. We have so much
Hey.
crap in the back.
There's still a vehicle we moved up to upstairs. So there's
Someday it's going to be
2014
worth something, and we're going to keep it.
Yeah. We're just
But we-
talking about
we
how
started-
we stuff wall scrolls, so.
We started
Yeah.
doing curbside pickup, and we like literally was like, oh man, I need something to stop this
Oh,
door
yeah.
so I don't get locked out. And
All
I
right,
got
hold
the
on.
brick.
Sean, tell the
Hang
story
on.
about the bricks. That's a great story.
No, wait, no. What did you use?
We
Well,
used
that's
the
what
brick.
we're talking about. So
Oh,
we
We
you
used
use the
the
brick as a doorstop for
Yeah.
when we're
to
doing
get back to
curbside
in fact,
pickup.
talk about the brick using a doorstop.
Well, can we put
Out of the
let's,
mall.
let's put a pin in the brick and finish talking about
Okay.
commercials because
Okay.
like,
The brick deserves its own segment.
but it's the
Does.
brick I was talking about.
Just a whole room full of people with
Indiana
ADHD.
Jones commercial though.
I know it's rough.
Generic music to put it back
Yeah,
on.
mine medicated.
Generic music.
Yeah.
Same.
It's after 5 though, so forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew I was being ambitious getting more than 2 other of these people together. So
Yeah, maybe we should like if you haven't noticed yet, we are all very energetic when we start talking to each other, and it could get like a little bit loud.
I know
I
it's why
love
our friend Harry had to start a Star Trek podcast because we'd start talking about Star Trek and be like, I want to know what they're talking about, because we wouldn't shut up once we get started. So that's just
All
kind
right,
of
commercials.
Commercial. So
Yeah. So anyway, we're doing a Star Trek commercial, and
No.
but yeah, no, yeah, the Indiana Jones one I think was one of the more fun ones I did because it was also one of the only times we were like, here's what our shots are gonna be, and then we did them, and we didn't have problems.
Yeah.
For somebody, it didn't take like 1,000 hours.
I think my favorite commercial was the We Got Character commercial or whatever we called it. That was
That was
That was a good
fun.
one.
That
yeah,
turned
see,
out
that was
great.
a series of commercials. I think that we did 3 of them on that one shoot.
yeah.
Yeah, we
We just kept
shot.
shooting
Yeah,
bits.
Good.
we got. Well, go ahead, Greg. Describe it.
No, I just think it was such a we got all of our cosplay friends and we just had basically them hang out in the store and us as I think it was mostly Scott and Beck, I think, as employees. I don't think Sean, were you and I in it?
No,
I think it was
I
just
was
me,
behind the camera for that one.
Okay. But like it was Scott and Beck, I believe they were like reacting to all these characters being in our store, which was it was a pretty cool shoot. Like I said, we made 2 different characters out of them.
Yeah, we
so
had. I mean,
my
we
favorite
had.
part.
We had like Darth Vader, Wonder Woman, Captain America,
Conan
the Barbarian, Batman, and like we should probably link to anyone who's still active doing cosplay in this as well. But like really awesome people come out and pretend to shop at the store, and it was just a blast, and it came out so great. I love that one.
Speaking of shooting commercials and costume, remember when we did the first Batman Day one?
Yes, I was just going to reference that.
So we
That's
had-
another one of
we
my
had Nick in
favorites.
his Dark Knight costume, and we're shooting stuff like in the mall. So we're
He
just
got a
walking around and like,
smoothie,
yeah, Batman's just like eating French fries in the food court.
flipping through records at the rock shop.
Yeah. But that was one where he was like, we hired him for the day or whatever, so he was just on his break. And he's like stopping, like, you know, we had other people as Batman villains, like trying to shoplift at the store and him stopping them. And it was just, we've had a lot of fun doing this stuff.
There was, before you go on, there's a funny behind the scenes bit about that. We didn't tell them all that we were going to be filming with a like for real Batman. Like when we say, if you haven't seen this guy's costume, it's movie accurate to the Christopher Nolan films, like The Dark Knight. And like the dude's got just jaw and everything, and he's built. He looks like Batman. He walks around. And he is Batman. So we had him walking up and down the mall. Like people were like going, "Hey, how you doing?" And we had this one shot where some of us were coming down the escalator, and he was going up, and we waved at him, and he waved. And like the next day, we got contacted by the mall security, and they were like, "Hey, so did you guys have Batman last night?" Because they looked at the security footage and they saw like Batman riding up and down the escalator, and they thought it was great. But they were like, "Please let us know next time you do this."
And that was Sean Porter was still the head of security, right? At that point, still.
I think
was
so.
he?
Yeah.
How long was he head of security? That was a long time ago.
He's there for a long time.
All right.
He's been there a long time. I think Haas was still there too.
Or was it Tanya? Because Tanya has been there a long time too.
Tanya had been there forever.
Tanya wasn't.
I think they were all there.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. But that was
By the way,
great.
we know the security guards that work in the mall.
This is so inside the weeds of the weirdest, most obscure information possible. For all you Hamilton Mall aficionados, this one's for you.
To roll back into that commercial, my experience was everyone would walk in the store and go, "How do you know there's a Batman out there?"
Yeah.
Yes, we do. That's our Batman.
No. Call the cops.
Oh man, we had him dipping the French fries into the ketchup.
Oh my God,
so good.
Remember the like science newsreel one that we did?
That's my favorite.
That one's really good. I almost
That's
forgot about that.
I actually just shared that with my current boss the other day because we were talking about. So I work for a company. I have a boss who used to work for 2K Games in their marketing department. So we were kind of like sharing stuff we used to do, but that we're kind of embarrassed about. But this one was like, no, I'm super proud of it. She had shared a video of her doing the unboxing for BioShock 2 because that's when she worked there. And yeah, so if you look it up, that's who I work for now. And at any rate, so I was like, all right, here you go. Here's a video we did for my story. She's like, this is incredible. And it's the black and white, like 1950s style film strip, like science and technology, you know.
The future of yesterday, today.
And and we had, you know, like we had that slogan, that tagline, the future of yesterday, today, which was just, I don't know. I'm patting myself on the back.
I came up with the future of yesterday, today. I was really happy.
So inspired, man. It's so good.
Well, that's the one where I got recognized for it. I think it was when Brian, Becca's husband, and when we used to work overnight for Black Friday, someone came in and like recognized me from that commercial. We used to play it on TV. And they're like, "Hey, can I get your autograph?" So I grabbed a screen grabbed of it, printed it out, and like said, like, you know, stay in school or whatever on it. I gave it to him. But it was like 4 a.m, so I'm just tired. I was like, yeah, this is a great idea.
That's amazing. We still have the beakers from that photo.
Oh yeah, all that stuff's still in the back. We have face shields and stuff, and it's been nice now we can use them, you know. So
I said that too. I was like, after I said that to my boss, I was like, you know, all that stuff, we still have it, and it came in surprising handy now that there's a pandemic. We have face shields and like
yeah, we have all this like scientific equipment, like safety. That one's a lot of fun too. I really like doing that one. Yeah, we've had a lot of good commercials. We should do more of them.
Yeah, that was when Cartoon Network showed our commercials all the time.
That's right.
Whoa.
Wes, I'm really glad you brought that up actually, because that was a secret to our success early on. After once the new game releases started to dry up and we leaned more on advertising, we had an amazing hookup to get our commercials on cable, because when we started advertising, it was right after the recession and nobody was advertising. So rates were unbelievably cheap. And then we picked stuff that was kind of off the beaten path. You know, we said like Adult Swim, during the Daily Show and Colbert Report, The Walking Dead season 1. You know, we wanted to have placements during those time slots, and they were all like over the years like pretty inexpensive. and we were able to have, if there was ever any holes in the inventory because nobody else was advertising, the people who knew us at Comcast would slot our ads in those empty spots as filler. So sometimes they play back to back, and I could not watch television late at night.
I couldn't do it anymore either, because then I would show up and say something stupid. Or...
Dude, like 2 a.m, and like my butt screen, because we did this one commercial where like I tripped and fell, and like the angle is such that it's like right behind my butt. It's like taking up like a fourth of the screen.
I like that one. I think that one's funny.
But they would run all the time.
Well, speaking of people that, from being back in the day, I've got one more person who's ready to come on and join us.
Uh-oh.
The suspense is killing me.
I know.
Yeah, I know. Oh,
hey! What's up?
Hey.
So we got Eleanor here, one of our first on the books employees. Her audio's still connecting.
Did not connect. No. It's okay. This is why the DNC pre-recorded, because doing Zoom Live is always a problem.
Yeah, I know.
I love that she still has a free comic book day shirt. That's incredible.
Oh yeah.
I have one as well. Does not fit. I tried.
Yeah, mine are a little awkward now.
Thought about it. Nope.
Tim, Sean, I still have I have our blue and our white shirts still. Those colored shirts.
I've
You
got
have the
our
blue
really
one?
old school one in the closet here.
I got them. I still have them.
Oh, at least she's gonna...
away. I'm a collector, Sean. It's gonna be worth money someday.
Dude, I had to throw the blue ones out because the embroidery around it started to like wear through and like come loose.
Yeah, mine
like,
the patch is coming
holes.
off of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I had to get rid of those, but I had a bunch of them. Man, that's so funny. You remember how big those first shirts were? Like we oversized them because we got like all XL, and we're. Hi, Ellie. Can you hear us?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe she. Oh
Wave if you
no!
can hear us.
Boo! Ah! Mate, I'm gonna send her a chat message. This will be perfect for a podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, did it not go? What the?
It did.
Yeah, no, there it is.
You sent it to everyone, yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
No, I meant to.
Oh,
It was just I hit it and it didn't immediately display on my
All right.
screen.
Well, while we're sorting that out there, if you guys, if there's any, does anyone have any special stories or memories they would like to share with us while we're waiting for our technical difficulties to figure out?
Brick.
Yes, let's talk about the brick, I guess.
Oh, all right, sure. This would have been the day after. So the day of Christmas Day. We get a call. It was like what? It was like 1 a.m. or so. It was
Is
just
this the
after
first
midnight.
Christmas?
Okay, yeah. I guess let me back up a little bit more too. Yeah, I think this was 2009 because we had moved to our second location in in Tilton Times Plaza. So yeah, it would have been 2009. Christmas Eve, Christmas happens. We've been closed all day on Christmas. It's like middle of the night, like rolling into the day after Christmas. I am reading, I remember Stephen King's Under the Dome at the time, and it's like massive thick book. And I got my phone went off and I answered it and it said ADT, which was a security company. And they're like, yeah, we've recorded a break-in at your store. Your alarm's been going off. Police have been dispatched, yada, yada, yada. And I immediately, super adrenaline. I'm like freaking out, immediately awake. Talk to Greg. I don't really remember the full sequence of events, but we eventually get over there and discover that the front door has been smashed in with a brick. And it's like a cinder block brick. And just of note, we're not really sure where this brick came from because it doesn't match any of the surrounding, masonry. It's not like they took it out of the parking lot and threw it through. Like they brought this brick with them. Like there is some premeditation.
For you.
Yeah, well,
Like,
Merry
"Yeah,
Christmas! So they smashed through our door, and from what we could tell when we got there, the police were like, "Yeah, we don't know what's been stolen. Take a look around." They didn't take any.
They moved the TV a little bit.
They moved the TV, and the
There's so
only
much
reason
dust. There was so much dust around, so we didn't dust for so long that we saw where they tried to move the TV and just.
It was the one behind the counter. So like at some point, I guess they had considered maybe like taking the TV and leaving, and then went through the back room and noticed that the whole back door was covered with cardboard boxes that we were waiting to break down and take out to recycles. So it was just like, almost like a box fort back there. And I guess they just decided not to bother and left.
We got very
So
lucky.
they stole nothing. They broke our window, and they left the brick. And
I
still
totally
have that
forgot
brick.
about that happening. Oh man.
It
How
cost
could
us
you? Wes?
$7.
The brick is on the counter at the store right now.
All
I
right.
remember that happening because I came in and I'm like, what happened? And you guys told me the stuff. I'm like, wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
They didn't steal nothing.
All
Not
right. Well,
the money that we had, not
Yeah.
any of the many, many video games behind the counter that they walk past that are worth money.
A lot of games back
So now we have the brick, and I'll never give it up.
there.
yeah.
It's on eBay years from now.
Well, welcome to the podcast now, Eleanor.
Thank you.
We can hear you.
Ellie! Yay!
Yeah.
Hey,
You're one of the people I was more excited to said they were trying to come on tonight.
Oh,
wow,
thank you.
thanks.
Yeah, it's because
Thanks,
I haven't seen you. And
Yeah, way to slam
Yeah.
Tim, Sean.
well, I play
Wow.
Dungeons and Dragons with Tim, and I work with everyone else. It's fine.
Also, you guys got to experience my pre-adolescent years with me, so
Yeah.
How old were you when we hired you? You were 18 at that, 17,
Yeah.
18?
oh my god,
Crap.
10 years ago. Wow. Yeah?
No.
No, it was 2011.
So close, though. Oh, my
Yeah.
God. That's crazy.
Wow.
Yep. I
You're
think
one of our...
yeah,
good
Sean
one.
was when I got hired, I think.
What was that?
I think I'm as old as you were when you hired me.
Oh, my God.
Well, yeah.
Speaking of watching people grow up, that's wild.
Yeah. That's
Oh
why
my
we were
God.
talking about that earlier. I remember your 21st birthday. We were over at Tim's house and we were playing Rock Band.
That's right.
Ugh.
That was
Yep,
one
and
of
Sean
the...
got adult chocolate milk.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, that was
Scott
so
got
much
super
fun.
drunk. Yeah.
Yeah, that was when I would get super drunk at these things. I don't anymore.
Good times.
This-
Sean, should I tell them about our White Castle trip?
Well, we did go to White Castle. I don't know if that's an appropriate related story, but
I'll have to check.
it was perfectly above board. We just really enjoyed the burgers.
As one does when they
seem
go.
a fine ham. So
Oh my
that was
god.
a good memory, though, Ellie. Thanks for digging that one up. I love that.
That was fun
Well,
too. I went on that one too. A bunch of us went.
Yeah.
We did. We took 2 cars, right?
Yeah.
We split up, and
Yeah.
Becca, did you go with us for that? You didn't. You weren't there.
No.
Now back
I didn't go. I wasn't there either, for whatever reason.
I don't think you would have been interested, Greg.
No, I think. Well, I know that at that point in my life, you're probably right about that part of it. But I think I won the burger. Oh man, I didn't want it because I don't remember why I said no. I had some reason to, but yes, you're probably partially right on that.
I went for the burger aspect. I didn't go for the other part of it.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I was only there for the burger.
You don't let me break.
Burgers are good.
Yeah.
I've still never been.
Same here, Tim. Never been either.
You're not
All right, Tim.
Oh
Tim,
man, well I guess there's a pandemic now. I'd be like, oh, I'm visiting in October. Let's just like have a reunion and let's
I was
go to
gonna
White
say,
Castle.
when the pandemic's over, let's do a White Castle thing. Ellie, where are you though?
Colorado.
No way.
Yeah, and the funny thing is I haven't smoked pot in like, I don't know, 6 years.
Basically, since
So-
I know. Like you're in Colorado.
What are you talking about?
I don't know what that is. I don't know what you're talking about.
yeah,
I've been to dispensaries out there. They're rad.
There, what's cool about out here with the dispensaries is like people will smoke to get high. They actually have like salves for like back pain. So it's like made out of THC and it absorbs into your muscle, but you don't get high off of it. It's like I just love that.
Yeah.
Like there's so many different medicinal things you could do with the plant.
Yeah. Well, when did you move out to Colorado? Bear in mind, I don't use Facebook anymore, really. So I don't know what anybody's up to, and that's not a flex. It's just I don't know what anyone's up to. So, some people are like, "Oh, I don't watch TV or I don't use social media." It's more like, "No, I just stop doing it."
Yeah,
And
I stopped doing it as well because social media just makes me miserable. I'm like, why am
All right,
I?
let's not talk about social media.
Anyway, Ellie, when did you move to Colorado?
So I moved to Colorado about 1.5 years ago. I moved out here to get away.
I can't imagine why you
I
would say that about South Jersey. We are a lovely community.
We are.
You know what? I worked so many jobs there. Like I think I worked every job I possibly could, and I was like, I have to go to another state now.
Yeah.
Like I worked at a toy store. I was the Easter Bunny. I worked at that mall for 5 years, guys. 5 years.
Oh yeah, I don't know what that's
Dang.
like at all. Yeah.
Nope.
Not at all.
Yeah, Wes especially.
I know.
Wes, you've been there since I was a kid.
40 some odd years, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm still there.
But only because you choose to be, not because you have to.
No, you don't
Which is
have to.
true.
Yeah.
That is
Which is
important.
true. And I enjoy being there.
Exactly.
So I was there for level up for 2 years, and then I heard that. So Sean, who's still there? I'm so.
Greg is still here.
I'm still there.
And Scott and
And the other
Rachel,
Sean's
OG.
not here. Oh,
Yes,
by the way,
I-
Eleanor, this is Sean and Nina. I don't know if you guys ever met.
Hello. I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know.
It's possible.
So
But
Maybe. Nice to meet
yeah,
you.
I do have another job, so I.
Oh, I have to flip on this app. Now I see everybody. Oh my God, Tim and Wes and Becca.
Oh,
Hi.
Awesome. Okay.
This is
What's up?
great.
We're all old now.
so yeah. Well, yeah, I know.
You're fine. You're
Yeah,
in
you're
your
the
20s.
same.
It's fine.
I'll,
I'm in my prime.
Yeah, you're good, man. I
Enjoy while
saw
you
that
can.
energy at 28.
See, this is the reason why Wes is on here, because he's older than me. So I don't feel I'm not
I
doing that.
am. Man, you see all this
So you
gray
guys
hair? Talk
no,
to
you don't have your video on.
Plus, there's no video on, so no.
So gray, just that background. That's
But yeah, Ellie, as you were coming on, we were sharing some of our favorite memories from our tenure at the store. Do you have any particular ones you would like to share?
Oh man, like that first comic book day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny because like to me that was like massive, and then to see how like it's grown. But I remember like just staying up all night making like Avengers cookies and like not knowing what to expect, and getting to just kind of like meet all of our customers and see like how much they, I don't know, loved Level Up. It was really, I don't know, I think that was like my favorite memory. I'll never forget that.
That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, there's
Wes.
Wes on the video.
How come nobody told me my video wasn't on?
You did.
Your hearing's going bad in your old age, Wes.
No, that's ages, Greg.
You're
Yeah.
right. Sorry. In our old
Greg,
age.
you should
And you'll be there
so-
soon, so watch out.
Yeah, I would rather take on Gray than this. But yeah,
Oh,
so yeah, we talked about that first free comic book day a little bit. It seems to be a pretty big watershed moment for a lot of us.
Yeah. Well, I remember coming to the mall like after I stopped working there and seeing like people actually cosplaying, and like that guy that got famous on like Reddit for being like a lookalike of Peter
Griffin.
Yeah.
Yeah, the real Peter Griffin.
I was like, this is like a Comic-Con in the mall. It was incredible. Another memory just came to me that I think is actually hilarious.
Oh,
I
no.
remember dressing up as a Katamari.
That was a pretty good one.
That was
And I
so
had-
good.
I had black
forgot
on my
about that.
eyes, and kids were like terrified of me, and so many people didn't know what I was.
I don't remember this at all. Holy
I
mackerel.
don't remember that either.
No recollection of this.
She had
Like, because I
the
remember, like,
head
I would
and-
go up to everyone and be like, "Hi!" So I just had like black, and I was like, "Hi, kids."
I remember one Halloween Comic Fest. You were the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
We have a picture of that. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you do? I would love to see a picture of that.
Yeah, I think we got some on Facebook because I know it didn't inflate the costume all the way, so you put a level up shirt on over top of it.
Oh
then inflated the
yeah.
shirt.
No one
Oh,
knew
that was so
me.
much
It
Funny, I
great.
wish you did that now because now I've got a full Ghostbusters costume right behind me.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
Oh
no,
man.
No, that first free comic book day was probably one of the first. It was probably the first time I felt like we could really do it. You know, like that what we were doing was working. Because like we had made enough money to stay open over the years before we moved to the mall. But it was really once we had been in the mall that it was like, oh no, there's an audience here, and there are people really responding to what we're doing. Let's keep pushing this and see what we can do with it.
I remember the store being so packed that one of you guys was like, "Hey, make an announcement." And I remember looking at all the people in the store and being like, "How am I going to talk over these people?" I had to walk across the room, stand up onto the desk, and just yell at the crowd.
yeah, like Caesar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember bolting after the guy who took too many comics?
Oh yeah.
I do.
I get it.
I do.
That's right. Oh, I
I'll
forgot.
be right
about
back.
that.
Watch the table.
Yeah, who did you turn to say that wasn't me? You turned to somebody and said that, and then you were just
I
gone.
don't remember.
Such an action movie moment.
Yeah.
Watch the comics. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another thing to
That
mention.
I think that was the first year too.
I think that was the first year. That's another thing to mention, though, is like I want to also take a moment while we keep gushing about all our events. We've had a lot of people like volunteer to help us run some of these over the years, just because they got so big. It's like I can't have someone watch the free comic book table, and it's like I need someone to kind of like help with guests and help people like get where they're going, like for like crowd flow and stuff. So we've had a lot of people over the years, and I want to take a moment to thank them to help us because, like we mentioned earlier, we've really built a community, and we can't do any of this stuff without the community's help.
It takes a village to raise a comic book store.
Exactly.
That's right.
If you learn anything from our story, it's that.
No, it's so true. Like the amount of times that we've asked somebody for help or multiple people for help, and the response that we've gotten for that has always been humbling. Whether it's moving the store or volunteering to do free comic book day or judge, the costume contest or just anything really. People would show up, and it would always floor me that anybody would be willing to devote their time. And
Yeah, I mean, no, like one of like, and Scott's part of this, and I believe Wes and Tim also possibly. I mean, Wes possibly, Tim, I'm pretty sure. Like when we first opened, when it was just Sean and I, like I know Scott and I think Tim did, and maybe Wes once or twice helped out in their own time. We paid them in comics, because.
Oh yeah, I used to work Thursday nights.
And I can't forget about John and Rebecca. They always helped out. They were the ones who covered the store for somebody's. So you and I had to go somewhere, and they covered the store for a day or something.
They did that a number of times for us.
Yeah.
We had a various, like Greg, in the early days, it was just Greg and myself. And, there were various instances where we both had to be somewhere at the same time. And like, well, yeah, like Tim or Scott or, John and Rebecca or, various other Harrison, would step up and be like,
Fred Harrison helped out a little bit. Yeah, I forgot.
I'll totally watch the store for you while you're gone. I remember Ted, your old roommate, and
Ted did it once or twice.
It's an all-around amazing guy who helped us build our first website. And knowing what I know now about development, I cannot believe he was willing to do that much work for us. But he watched the store for us the first time we ever stepped away simultaneously, which was the first. Mo did too, your wife, which was the Mecca show up in New York.
That's right. Yeah.
The video game trade show is like for one of the distributors, and they would have publishers, like Sony and Microsoft, and it was like a tiny E3, but in this really rad loft, really good food, like open sushi bar, like really nice swanky party. And Greg and I went that first year, and it was super cool. And I remember Ted, we kept calling the store to see how we were doing or text, and like we had our best day since we had opened.
Yeah.
We left and we were like, well, I guess we should just never work in the store anymore.
No, I remember because I remember those Pep Boy days. I used to call it the Wild West because we just kind of made things up as we went, as customers asked us things. There was like no way to we didn't have any kind of. I remember how we used to do trade-ins. We would do it line by line, not mention what game it was, and it was just like, oh, we had to keep them in the same order. We'd never remember what we paid for things.
Yeah, that was such a terrible system. Why didn't we?
I don't know why.
It was like
iterate on that at all.
Yeah, we came up with it. It was terrible. We didn't change it for
kept doing it
years.
for years. But I remember because I would work Thursday nights because I think Sean, you were in college and Greg just wanted a night off, and I'd work for 4 or 5 hours or whatever it was, and then I would just take my comics for the week, and then that was what I would do Thursdays. But I remember my buddy Kendall I mentioned earlier. He worked not too far from that store, so when he got off done work, we would just get Chinese food and watch Netflix. Because
I watched a lot of Buffy back in the day.
I watched a lot of Doctor Who. That's how I was getting into that. Obviously,
we made good use of our time back then.
Yeah, I remember I'd go in and Greg be watching hockey games and stuff.
Always. How do you get TV?
I only got to do it once or twice, I think, and I spent my time alphabetizing stuff.
Yeah, that's how.
Yeah, he actually worked.
To be fair, I was getting paid in comic books.
Totally fair, man.
We were on our computers a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I started playing Marvel vs. Capcom, and I thought I was so good. And I was like, Sean, I can play this. I'm really good. He kicked my ass.
I didn't go easy on you. You were like, I've been playing a lot. I'm doing really good. I'm like, cool. I'm like the blur of you.
Joystick.
I felt so bad.
No, because Ellie, I remember you were talking smack to me about that. I was like, you should tell Sean. He used to play that game. And you're like, oh, I bet I can beat him. I'm like, all right, go talk to him.
Ellie, you'll appreciate this. My son loves fighting games. He loves to just play video games in general. But I set him up with Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And I set my handicap all the way up, and I had it simple control scheme, so every button's a special. And he's whooping my ass. And once in a while, the only way to beat him is to never let him get a hit in. But the second you do that, it's a relentless assault until he's dead. So I did it once, and he was like, "Don't do that, Dad! Don't hit me! Don't beat me up!" I was like, "You have any idea how hard it is to beat you right now, Luke? I can't." I have to. If I get hit once, I'm dead. And he's like, "Don't do it, then. Don't hit me."
Oh.
So I'm still whooping kids' butts. That's the moral of the story.
Yeah, man. Remember when we used to do we used to have that Dreamcast stand set up with Marvel vs. Capcom in it.
It sounded like a jet engine.
Yeah, I had to. It drove me crazy because I hate Take You for a Ride. Because it's 5 seconds long and just repeats forever.
That was my ringtone.
Yeah.
I love torturing Greg with demo.
There are certain games that we cannot play in the store because one or more of us will go insane from hearing it. I know Greg's is Toe Jam and Earl. I never ever want to hear Parappa the Rapper again. Talk about how that one dude can beat Superman. I want to just snap that disc into 1,000 pieces.
I've added a few to my playlist though from that. I know I've done a few Chrono Trigger and a few Chrono Cross songs.
Those ones didn't bother me as much.
Yeah. Those were good.
That we just let play in the store.
Well, I was about to say, we have Yoshi's Story playing in the store right now, but I had to put the TV on mute. Just again, because it's a short song. The music in that game is good, but it's short and it's just on repeat, and you hear it all day long.
Yoshi's Story has the shrillest. Oh, that one's okay. I was going to say Yoshi's Story has the shrillest soundtrack because it's all the synthesized Yoshi voices singing along. It's awful.
Yeah.
But anyway.
When you hear a song all day long, it drives you nuts.
That hunt for the perfect demo song, which one's not going to drive me crazy today?
Yeah,
it's going to be relatively recognizable that someone might be like, oh, hey, you have that game, as opposed to what the hell is that?
Yeah, why is Bubsy on the screen?
I'm so glad you brought up Bubsy.
Wes is always trying to get on the TV. Every time I turn
Wes-
around, I'm like, Wes, put another Super Nintendo game on. It's just, I always turn around and it's Bubsy. I'm like, no. Put something on people care about.
We got to start our Bubsy podcast. We were trying to talk about Bubsy
Right.
on the last one.
Yeah, and the Super Nintendo one, it came up more than I would like.
You can involve Deans in that.
Yeah, well,
He
Dean's has
loved.
come up as a potential candidate for a guest for a lot of episodes, so be on the lookout for our friend John Deans, who also worked for the store at one
His
point.
schedule is just packed. So
Yeah,
it's hard
Have
to
you
book
done it?
Deans.
Have you done a DS9 episode yet?
we did a DS9 overview episode, but a couple people asked us if we could do a season by season recap. So I'll reach out. I know we talked.
Ooh, okay.
I know you and I talked about this beforehand. I'll reach out to you when we start talking more Star Trek again.
Never
Oh,
have Star Trek.
Cool.
By the way, Ellie got into
Okay.
Star Trek since she's been at the store, so we've been talking about that.
I've gotten into a lot of things since working there.
Star Trek's
Probably
okay.
Although,
helps.
I just watched Stargate for the first time in my life,
The movie or
and
the show?
Starship Troopers for the first time in my
That's a
life.
great movie.
Like,
That's
I
a
love
good
that movie.
That's a great movie.
The first one.
it was
Just the first one.
it was
2 and 3 are
quote-
modern masters. I don't know what you're talking about.
I was so mad that someone talked me into watching 3, man. Like someone's like 3 is actually pretty good, and I
Because
watched it.
James
Like, it
Vanderbeek
is
came
not.
back.
That's
Yeah.
the one with like
exactly.
brain bugs, right?
Yeah.
Not James Vanderbeek. Oh my
Whoever
god.
the main guy is, I can't
Casper
remember.
Van Dien.
Casper Van Dien.
Dien. That's right.
I'm surprised
Anyway.
I remembered that much of his name, the van. I can't
yeah.
remember anything. My
Look,
brain
we're
is
just-
turning to slop.
We're off on a tangent again,
Yeah.
Scott. We're talking
Yeah.
about Starship Troopers.
So roll us back in. Get us,
No,
get us
yeah,
the
no,
question.
yeah.
Here's the question, Scott.
So, so we all work at the store, right? So, no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, I mean, Ellie,
Deal with
that's a
that.
good thing to bring up, because a lot of us come in and there's parts of what we do that we're not necessarily big fans of, or like I'm not a huge toy collector just because it's not my jam, but I've learned a lot of stuff since just being in the store. Like even video games, like I keep finding out like games and systems exist that I've never heard of.
Here.
Because people either someone sells them to me or someone comes in asking for it. But like, what are some of the things you've gotten into that that you didn't know about before the show before you started working with us?
Well, first off, Scott, actually, I want you to tell a story about the zombie game you bought from us. It's
Oh
not a-
yeah. So I knew about this game because Spoonie did a video on it like 1,000 years ago when the internet was young, called Samurai Zombie Nation. And then we had it in the store for like $30 for like
back in the old store back in
the original store for like
Oh my god. I remember this.
Anyway, so I was like, I kind of want this. It's $30. It kept me from buying it. So I bought it and like I enjoy it. It's like over $300 now.
At that point, it's
Yeah.
only $30.
Yeah. So
Crazy.
There is an old picture on our Facebook, I think, where you can zoom in like really close to the original store to see the case by the register with N64 games. And there are games in there that are now hundreds of dollars. We were selling for like $15.
Wow.
Because we were like, nobody give a crap about them at the time. They hadn't jumped off yet. But Zombie, yeah, that one's just, that's a weird game. I love
that's
that
the
game.
most expensive game I own. But yeah, what are some of the things like that you guys have gotten into? Like, actually, I got into Star Trek more over the course of watching of being at the store, and that was more because Netflix put it on when you were still getting DVDs from the mail. I was like, oh, this is a classic show. Let me just watch all of it. And the first season of the original series is so boring, I stopped. And then talking with Greg and some other people, I kind of got back into it. And then I just moved on to like Next Generation and Deep Space Nine and all those. And now, as everyone knows, I have very strong opinions on it all the time. But like what even Sean and Greg, like you guys, like I'm sure there's stuff you've gotten into from being in or at least become more aware of since having the store.
Come back to me. I got to think about that for a minute. So come back to me in a minute.
Mine's an easy answer. It's model building.
Yeah, that was gonna
Gundam
be-
kits.
Yeah.
Because that was something we sold early on, and I was like, this is neat, but I never really got into it. And then when we started to explore the possibility of carrying it, I got really, really into it. Like I did a kit. I was like, these are amazing. And as much to Greg's chagrin, when I'll be like, I'd stop in once in a while and be like, oh, I'm gonna take these home with me.
House at home. But no, I mean, it's funny because like when we first had model kits, like nobody really cared at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, it's true. We had like one or two like diehard customers, but we eventually stopped carrying them because it just wasn't a community for them. But like they've jumped off in the last few years, and I'm on board. Actually, I have one right here that I've been working on. It's a real grade Evangelion, and it's amazing. So- but that's me. Actually, Becca, how about you? Because you haven't said a whole lot. I want to hear more from you.
I mean, honestly, yeah, model kits and manga are probably that, because yeah, it's the model kits really took off. And I mean, I hadn't been into it much, but yeah, when the scene kind of I jumped into it again. And then manga, I've been doing the orders for now, and like I liked it when I was a kid, but now there's so much, and there's just so much.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Oh, say,
Sean?
what you say? Yeah, Sean or
Let's just
Nina.
go around.
Yeah, we'll just go down the
Yeah,
line.
I mean, super recently model kits. As of only like 2 weeks ago, we now have the bug, and we're crazy about them
Mhm.
because the Pokemon ones came out, and Becca was
Okay.
show.
You got to be careful.
Getting more next week. More next week.
That's the dream.
Let's
Yo,
see, let's
my
do
the
this.
whole behind me is just model kits.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay, so this is called a building area. I have a
Ah,
light.
Yeah, Becca's in her
And-
workshop. Yeah.
There's well, actually, I've got repair stuff too. So there's broken Game Boys.
Oh, dude.
Kits, tools.
yeah, I'm doing some Game Boy modding as well.
Oh,
I'm
cool.
gonna put the backlit
Nice.
screen of my NES edition.
Nice.
Everybody's getting into
You
Game
two are
Boy
like my
modding these
heroes
days.
right now. Like, that's the dream.
I gotta say, I feel like I am living the dream sometimes when I sit at this desk. I'm like, I like everything right in front of me.
This is my stuff.
Yeah.
And I
is all
like my
like-
stuff.
I like this.
I like my stuff.
I was gonna say the other thing. It's gonna sound ridiculous, but comics. Like, I've loved comics forever, and I've always wanted to get into them. And I think I don't even know what the first series I got into, like, from the store, but I've gotten into so many weird, great books just because of things that were recommended by everyone. Like my favorite story that I have with Level Up is that first like winter season I worked with you guys. You guys invited me to like be a part of your Christmas like present pool, Secret Santa, and I got Harry. So I had to give Harry something. I knew two things about Harry. He likes Star Wars and he likes pinball. And I was like, okay, he's getting a little BB-8 thing because he's a pinball. He's a little round guy. So I got him something, and he loved it. And I think, Sean, you got me?
I did.
Yeah.
And you got me like the three, we didn't talk or anything, but you got me like the 3 books I was dying to get. You got me Paper Girls. You got me, I think, Black Widow Volume 1, maybe. And I forget what the other one was, but like it was like, oh yeah, these are my people. Like these are the best people in the world, and I'm lucky to be friends with them because they just read my mind and they know cool books and everything.
Sean, I don't think we pointed out yet. You've done a lot of art for the store too.
Yeah.
The T-shirt I'm wearing, you did all the art on the back of it.
I went to wear that tonight. It's dirty. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, mine was clean. So I was like, all right, I'm good. But, if you go on our website, you'll see like these little cartoon dudes that like kind of represent our different sections. If you're in our pinball league, you did the shirt for that as well. Of a guy playing a pinball game. So you've been even though you did those when you weren't working for us at the time, but you've sort of been like a little bit a part of like our identity a little bit because of that.
Yeah.
Because I know I've used them for marketing and various things. I've used them because I think that's why I reached out to you, use them for our annual holiday guides that I make.
Yeah.
Just to kind of help like give it a little bit more personality.
Mhm.
But I've used them since then.
I still think the Free Comic Book Day 2017 shirt that you did the art.
I love
for
that
is
Yeah, that's the
so
first
I
one.
love that
That's the
shirt.
first piece of art
Yeah.
you did for us with the person leaning back on the comics.
Yeah.
I've reused that specifically for like summer reading and stuff like that.
Mhm.
It's really
Just because it's someone lounging and reading books, it's great.
Yeah, I just, again, to be real, it's been super freaking cool to be able to do that. Like, not only do I feel like I'm a part of the store, but like people recognize my work, and they say like, yeah, I saw like your stuff at Level Up, and
That's awesome.
that's a really
That's
cool
really cool.
That's
feeling.
cool.
I'm gonna
So
say, I
I-
think. Oh, so yeah, sorry.
No, just thank you.
No, no problem, man. Thank you for
Yeah.
doing them. But let's say I think like as of all of 2 days ago, we started selling Nina's stickers at the store.
My toads.
We had
That was
people
really
busting
great.
our door down to buy them because she makes the stickers, and we had one on the back of our register for a while. So people kept asking us where to get them, and like we don't have them.
Do you have
Like,
a
we
picture?
should-
Where's
of
my
we
it
should
right
get
toad
'em.
with
now?
cowboy hat?
Yeah,
Where's my
That one-
cowboy toad?
Yeah,
yeah.
country toads.
Yeah, it just takes me home country toads on it.
Yeah, it's so good.
Oh my
I do
god.
have a Captain Toad.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
That's good.
It goes on my
Pretty
phone.
adorable.
It's really good.
I do make more things than just toads.
No, I know you do. I want to get more of them. I just know we have those right now.
Don't pigeonhole her as the
Yeah.
toad artist.
If anything, you're the Pokemon or Animal Crossing artist.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got really into because I participated as a vendor in one free comic book day and the Halloween comic book fest. I also worked at the store for the second half of the day for.
Yeah.
But I got really into like making stuff like charms and stickers.
Yeah.
And doing like video game art. So that's kind of
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, that's great.
So we're
Yeah.
starting to have that, so you can buy a little bit of that. Oh yeah, that's right. We're a store. We should be selling things. So yeah, come in the store and buy those things you guys drew on.
Yeah, so I could sell it.
Yeah. I was about to say, Wes, you're probably immune to like getting new fandoms working at the store. It's because you've been so immersed in like geek culture for so long.
I've seen him buy random things forever. That is
Yeah.
such a lie.
Yeah, I don't think.
To me.
I yelled at him every week about his comic purchases.
Oh, I still yell at him every week about it.
So does his wife.
More
I'm
things
sure.
change.
We get a variant, and I'm like, Wes, as soon as he comes in, I'm like, Wes, you don't need to buy it.
You don't need it. You don't need it. But
And
you know,
so-
it's funny. Yeah, I'm into comics, I'm into anime, I'm into games and stuff. But working at the store, it made me realize the value of a lot of games. I mean, they were just games I bought and I enjoyed, but it's, people's trading them in, selling it. It's like, wait, this game is worth how much? This game sucks.
I've heard you say that.
Yeah, well, I know
To the person.
John Rockwell and I have talked about this. We're like, Paperboy was never a big deal when we were kids, but people always ask for it.
Everybody wants Paperboy from the Nintendo. The game sucks.
Yeah, but every
It's
game,
not fun.
every game is someone's favorite, and just nostalgia is a powerful drug. We should know that better than anyone. But sometimes the things that become real popular are always surprising.
Very surprising. It's like, wow, unbelievable.
Yeah. I think I got my copy of, just speaking of old N64 games that are weird and valuable now, I got my copy of Conker's Bad Fur Day from you guys.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Which is, I don't know. I didn't really know what I was getting into as a kid or whatever. So whoopsie.
Well, how old were you when you picked it up?
Hopefully 18, I guess.
I feel like you had
18
to
on
have
the
been
dot.
old
I
enough.
carded him, absolutely.
Oh, did you sell it to him, Tim?
No, but they don't know that.
They probably,
No, I'm pretty sure I was. I'm pretty sure.
yeah, there weren't any tapes. No, that's so funny though, because that game in particular is one that always stands out in my head as one game I feel bad for selling for a lot of money, like because it's worth a lot now.
Yeah.
And like when I was still working in the store regularly, it was around like $80, I want to say.
Yeah.
And people would be like, "Do you have Conkers?" And you're like, "Yeah, we do." I'm like, $80, that's a ripoff. I have to be like, "I know, but it's not. It's not actually a ripoff. That's just what it's worth."
It's weird.
But it would always feel weird, right? Like
Yeah.
that was one of those games where it's like, I wish it was only like $20. I wish it wasn't that expensive.
I mean, everyone complains about games that are $5, so
that's true too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
But
Definitely.
there are some games that are worth like hundreds of dollars that I'm like, whatever. That is what it's
Yeah.
worth. Like Metal Storm, for instance. Like if
Well, I mean,
I
but
don't
speaking
feel
of
bad that Metal Storm's a $1,200 game. It's
Sean,
whatever.
remember that time when little Samson walked in the store?
Oh yeah, I
I
remember
do.
heard about
I
that.
wasn't even there, and you called me to tell me, and I'm like, hang on, I'll be there.
Well, I was there when it was getting traded in, and I had to call Greg. I'm like, I need your approval to spend this much money.
I had to open it.
We had to open. We had to make sure.
Becca
it was
opened it up to make sure it was legit.
Oof.
legit. 'Cause a lot of
Scary.
For people who don't know, Little Samson is a very rare Nintendo game. it came out, I want to say like extremely late in the NES's life cycle. It was like probably 90, 91, so there weren't a lot made.
Yeah, I think it was
It's-
91. It was one of the
it's
last
not-
games made.
Yeah, it's not notable other than that. Like
It's a fun game.
it's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
It's fine. But like, it's not
Yeah.
anybody's favorite game. It's not worth money because of nostalgia. It's
Yeah.
worth money because it's super hard to get. And it's like,
Yeah.
what? How much was it? Do you remember?
It was
How much
over
was it?
1,200. It was over
1,200?
1,200. I don't remember exactly,
Wow.
but
Yeah.
it was well over $1,000.
Sold
That's up
immediately.
there with like Panzer Dragoon Saga. And I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
god.
Do you still have your sealed copy?
I used to have my sealed copy.
Yeah. Oh my God,
Mercedes
what-
Vicente is
It's
getting
not, it's not GameStop
Yeah.
resealed, is it? Or EB Games resealed?
No,
No,
it's
he-
factory sealed.
He's
Tim,
got
I'm
the,
always-
the
I'm
flap
always-
hanging off and everything. I know exactly what it looks like. It was in the store for a while.
Tim, I've
Used
always
to
got
stare at it.
for Senti for you.
I appreciate it. One day.
Yeah. I remember when we first started streaming stuff in the store. What was that game with all the crazy controller?
Oh, Steel Battalion.
Steel Battalion. You brought that in and we
Yes.
played that. That was a lot of fun. That's another game that's ridiculous.
Is
For a
my
lot of
controller still in the back? Because I remember at one point I brought
It's
my
still back
Steel
there, yeah.
Battalion
It's back
controller.
there.
Is it still back there?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it for a
Very
minute.
And I was like, we can't sell it. Like nobody wants that.
It is back there still.
But
That
it's
one was
great.
a lot of fun.
It's 2 joysticks.
I-
4
I-
pedals.
80 buttons and 3 pedals and an eject button. Yeah, it was crazy.
I remember on the stream we beat the first level and we're like, we beat the game. We're done. It was
Yeah,
so
that's
hard
about all
to get
you-
through that. But yeah, no, there's some really crazy weird games out there. I remember like when I first discovered a Wonder Swan that came in, I'm like, what the heck is this thing? There's so
What's-
much weird stuff. I remember I discovered a Master System even existed just from working in the store. Now it's the game system I want to collect for because I love the NES so much, but my like NES collection's kind of done.
I think Wes will agree with me that the best system that nobody's ever heard of was the Neo Geo Pocket.
Stop it. Don't encourage him.
The
That
Pocket,
joystick, man.
Pocket with color was great.
That joystick was so good.
Oh, I know.
Clicky, click, click,
Oh,
click.
it was the best
You
show.
bought like 3.
So good.
Wes,
Yeah.
how many did you buy the day it came out?
Is he getting them right now? Like, is
Yeah.
there one nearby?
getting
'Cause that would be.
Yes!
Oh,
Somehow.
Gotta hold it up to the microphone.
So good.
fantastic.
So good.
God, Jesus.
I think one of my favorite like stories about like gaming or whatever, talking about like weird games, whatever. That when that whole craze of people calling for Battletoads for whatever reason that was. When people would call our store, we'd be like, "Oh yes, we do. It's
Yeah.
$50 and hang up on us because they thought it was a joke." I was
Well,
like,
my
"No."
thing was always which version of Battletoads because there's like 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah, it
You
was
want
so
one for
great.
NES, Game Boy? Do you want Battletoads Double Dragon for either Super Nintendo or Genesis?
Battletoads, Battlemaniacs.
Yeah, Battletoads and Battlemaniacs. Yeah, there's a few of them.
People would hang up right immediately.
Dude, but that joke devolved into something so stupid. Like I remember when I was still at GameStop, someone would just walk by and yell Battletoads into the
It
store
was
and keep
stupid.
going.
That really was a man. That really was a thing for a while, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Welcome
Yeah.
to the internet in real life.
I'm
Oh,
sure it's
yeah.
referenced in the new Battletoads game that just came out.
Did it come out?
Yeah, it
Is
just
it
came out
released?
the other day. I don't know. I heard it's not that great, so I was like, whatever. I'm just gonna move on with my life.
So actually, we should get back to Tim. What did you learn when you were at the store? 'Cause we kind of got on a tangent with that.
Oh God.
Anything. Or new hobby or new whatever.
Or did you stop
I-
liking things?
Yeah.
There was a little bit of that.
Stop liking people.
Deadpool definitely died a little for me. But
Yeah.
besides that, comics at first were definitely a huge draw for me to learn because I realized I had very little knowledge when I started there. I was the kind of person that would argue like Batman wouldn't do this, but then it turns out it depends on who writes him in what year.
Yeah.
So
Frank Miller. So
yeah.
That's one of my favorite questions. So about superheroes, I'm always like, well, it depends on who's like. Does Batman kill people? I'm like, Frank Miller's Batman does, but
Yeah, and they undid 2 other deaths. Like,
think
if you
I-
want to count them,
Oh no, that question is one of my pet peeves. Someone comes
Yeah.
in like, who would beat who and who? And I was like, this doesn't matter.
yeah.
It's whoever's gonna write it. Like,
You're supposed to engage. Be like,
yeah, this is terrible,
That's a
Scott.
terrible question.
I've been working in comic book stores since I was 17, so I've heard all of the comic book questions. So I'm kind of over some of them.
The only thing I don't like I don't like the Superman versus Goku. I don't like the cross genre stuff that much.
Yeah.
But still, I still answer the question.
Goku.
No, again, it depends on what era Superman are we talking about? Because there's
Well,
times
that's true
when you
also,
can
yeah.
just juggle the galaxy.
Rolling
off-
back.
This is off the rails.
Yeah,
No,
rolling
this
back.
is perfectly on the rails for what we do.
Right, Tim.
Comics were definitely the bigger one that I had to learn at first. And then I definitely pulled more into board games and then D&D. And then I got lost in D&D and I'm still drowning. So
Yeah. Yeah, I was
I
gonna guess
play
D&D was your big one.
too.
Yeah,
Nice. Awesome.
awesome.
yeah
So-
Tim, his wife, and a couple other people usually play on Wednesdays.
I have a
Obviously not
regular
this
Monday
week.
group.
Ugh.
Yeah,
I have a bi-weekly Friday group.
I also play
Play a lot of
Tuesday.
D&D.
You are knee deep, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Neck deep.
it's a problem.
Oh, you've played a bunch of different kinds of tabletop games too. We've talked about them at length.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of experience, not like Jim or Shannon, my wife, but like I've done Savage Worlds, I've done the Star Wars tabletop RPG. I did 4E and 5E.
Yeah.
I did a little bit of Pathfinder, but I really want to try Pathfinder 2, version 2.
Yeah, as I say, if we want to go more, and if your listeners want to hear more in depth, Tim, his wife, and a couple of our other tabletop friends, we did a whole episode of this podcast earlier on that. So whatever format you're listening on, just scroll down a little bit and you'll find it.
Which was super fun to do.
Oh yeah,
and
we're definitely going to do it again.
Yeah, I keep meaning to talk to Brian and Becca actually because I have D&D minifigs and they are not painted and I don't understand how to put paint on them. So.
And I know Brian's a little bit more set up for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm too impatient. That's
Yeah, I
too
can't.
much work.
That's fair. That's how I feel. So.
Speaking of Becca, real quick, I also want to point out that if you follow us on social media and if a post is good, 99% of the time it's because it's something Becca made.
Very true.
Yeah.
If it's a post, it's 99% of the time something Becca made.
Yeah, that's true too. I send most of the emails.
Now.
You both are
So
special.
it's fine. We do. Yeah.
Well, I try to make posts, and then Becca just is better at it. So I just
That's
have
an
an
excuse.
Uh,
It's
you know,
good.
we all kind of specialize in different parts of the job, just to make things easier on ourselves.
Know your strengths, know your weaknesses.
Yeah,
That's
we're a very symbiotic relationship, and I think that's partly why a lot of us were able to remain friends even outside of, not everyone here still works with us, but I reached out to I haven't seen Eleanor in years, except for that one time you randomly lived 2 doors down from me for a minute.
We did?
Yeah, remember we drove by and you're there and we're like, what? And then I texted you and was like, are you my neighbor now? And they're like, oh, we should hang out, and then we didn't.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was. Oh, I'm sorry.
I think it was right before you moved. It's not a big deal. I'm not that worried about it. But I was able to just text you out of the blue. It's like, hey, we're doing a podcast thing. I'm trying to get on some of the people who used to work in the store. Would you want to come on? You're like, yeah, and then we're here. So there's just a lot of people that I'm still friends with.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of you.
In
It's
forever.
been a while.
Oh, I did. Oh, well, I heard Sean mention a Christmas party, and I remember one of the early ones. I don't know if he still comes to the store all the time. But he loved Pee-wee, so I was able to get a prank going by asking everyone to bring fruitcake.
I forgot
So I'll
about
give him
that.
fruitcake.
I think
Oh,
he's
man.
trying to
He's
work
a Turtles
their-
now. He's a Turtles dude.
Wait, who? A Turtles dude?
Yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles he likes. He collects his toys now.
Oh, okay.
Does he? I think you're talking about two different people, Greg.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of a customer, Greg, and I think
Okay.
Ellie's talking about Joe.
Oh, Joe?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Joe. My bad. Sorry. I broke up, so I didn't hear a lot of
Yeah,
it. My bad.
Well,
That's
Joe's the only
okay.
person we showered in fruitcakes, as far as I'm aware.
Mm-hmm.
It's a reference to Pee-wee's Christmas special for everyone that's younger than us. It's streaming on Netflix, I believe, still. So go watch that. It's
Yeah.
a classic. I I'm a sucker for anything Christmas related, but like that one's I find hard to recommend. Unless you're a person who's already into like Pee-wee, which I don't even know how you get into him now. Or was that
He just has a new Netflix movie. If we're gonna turn this into a Pee-wee podcast,
yeah, that was a couple years ago, but like that one was okay. Anyway, we're known for going off topics. This is if you talk to any of us in store, this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Oh, wasn't Paul Rubens in Star Trek once too? I just...
Oh my God, Greg.
He might have been. I don't remember offhand. I do think he was.
Oh my God.
I know he's related to Star Wars because he was the guy, the voice for the droid that did Star Tours. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
But that was Paul Rubens.
He was the Penguin's dad in Gotham.
Was he?
Yeah.
He kind of looks like that guy that got to play the Penguin in Gotham.
He was
Those
the
facts are
Penguin's
weird.
dad in the Tim Burton movie. Yeah.
Oh, was he in the Tim Burton movie too?
Yeah, he was the dad from Batman Returns.
It's been a long time.
The very beginning, he's one of the Copperpots.
Okay. Well,
Cobblepots?
Cobblepot.
Cobblepot.
Yeah.
Cobblepot.
Yeah. Oswald Chesterfield Cobblepot.
Didn't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, you have to. You have to. We're comic book people. You've got to be pedantic.
This is also going to be on the internet, so you got to get ahead of all the comments. I'm going to get 1,000 emails that didn't wait until like 1 second until Tim corrected you.
Perfect. I stopped listening at 1 hour and 57 minutes because Sean was wrong.
I mean, they were right to do so.
Yeah.
That's when I stopped listening, and I'm on the podcast. But yeah, unless anyone's got, as I'm sure we could probably dig up some more stories, because I'm not even thinking about some of our parties and stuff.
We could talk all night, but I feel like, yeah.
Some of it could be off the record.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe some of that should be.
Yeah.
A little bit.
But,
I do have one actually
what's up, Tim?
that I don't think we brought up. That if I had to pick a singular moment and it wasn't mommy and daddy fighting in the store or anything like that, it would probably be when we moved to the second floor.
Oh man.
Because
there
there
was
was
interesting times.
like we've discussed already, so many people showing up to help, and there was easily 30 or 40 people
Yeah.
that
was
showed up
crazy.
to just move stuff and help us arrange and get things
that
done.
was a Herculean effort from
Yeah.
the time that we were told that we had to move the store. Because the backstory to that is that the mall management at the time decided that they were going to lease out the spot that we were currently in to a clothing store, which is now bankrupt as a company.
Yeah.
So, gotcha.
Let's get back in there.
Who's still in business now? Clothing store. So we had to relocate, and the spot that they had for us was in Death Alley, which is what they called the upstairs where we are now, because it was where stores went to die.
Well, remember the time the general manager or one of the managers said pretty much they put anybody up if they want them to leave, they put them up there. Remember he told us that?
Oh yeah, like straight up, like this is where we send stores because we don't like them. But it wasn't the case for us, and it was unfortunate. But we only had a month to do it. It was like a little over 4 weeks from the time we found out we had to do it to when we would have to move.
And it wasn't
And
even
we
just
managed.
yeah.
We did it, and it was. I mean, like it was a crazy effort. We had to gut.
Yeah, I was about to say it wasn't just moving our stuff up there. The floor was a mess, the walls were a mess. We had to do everything in there.
Got the place. Yeah.
Cash wrap that was in there was too big for us to get out, so we had to break it apart.
Oh, there's some. Becca made some
remember
great
that?
photos of
Yeah, I remember
photoshops of
that.
you smashing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a sledgehammer and smashed right through that thing. That was actually really satisfying.
My favorite's the
but-
one where you're smashing the Berlin Wall.
Hey guys,
That's why
I have to get ready to jump off.
Yeah, I was gonna say
But,
it's getting
and
it's.
I just wanted to say, 12 years with you guys in that, with Level Up, it's been great. I enjoy. I look forward coming to work, and I enjoy what I do. We're all passionate about it. I'm thankful to be a part of it, and I just hope we just keep going, man.
That's the goal.
I don't see any reason to end anytime soon. So,
Well, thank you, Wes. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Of course.
Amen.
All
All
right.
right. I'll see you at
Have a
work.
good night.
Good night, Wes.
All right, Wes.
All right.
It's only 8 o'clock where I'm at. So
Well, it's 10 our
Good to
time, and
go.
we're a lot older than the last time you hung out with us. So
likewise. But
Really?
yeah,
you're in your 20s. I don't want to hear it.
almost 30. I'm 28 and a half.
Crazy. Time flies.
Yeah, I know,
I
man.
know.
It's ridiculous.
I know.
Time's arrow keeps marching forward and for whatever.
So I guess to not to just take control and say what I guess if we have anything less left to say,
Yeah.
let's say it and call it a night. Nobody? Okay, good.
All right, store's over. All right.
It's really great to see you guys.
It was good to see
Now,
you.
Yeah, it was good to see you.
it's really you, and I did want to say something. Just thank you, Scott. Doing something so thoughtful and really cool. Putting the time to put all of this together and wrangle people who used to work for us and currently work for us and hang out and chat. It really means a lot how much you've been willing to go out there over the years and just be amazing. So and you too, Becca. The two of you have kept the store going during an incredibly difficult time. We've been through some crazy shit as a company, and the fact that a pandemic hasn't been enough to knock us out yet, I think says a whole lot about the people who work with us.
And like Sean was saying, a lot of other places have gone under or just whatever else. So we're in a very fortunate to have everybody past and now,
Yeah.
Yeah, it means a lot.
And I want to point out that I did reach out to basically everyone that used to work with us.
Now they're on my shit list. They didn't show up.
Well, a lot of people, almost everyone was like excited about coming, but just it was a logistical thing trying to figure out.
Let's do it again then.
Yeah. So, but fortunately, this podcast that I do is set up in such a way that like I can kind of plan episodes around people's schedules. Like I know Jess couldn't make it tonight, but I will definitely do an episode where I can have her come on and we can talk about things. Because there's all kinds of stories. Like we didn't even talk about going to Baltimore. There's tons of stories we haven't talked about yet. So depending on the
crazy.
response to this, yeah.
Neither am I.
Yeah. God, that was fun.
Long story.
That's a long story.
For another
since we're
time.
wrapping up right now. But that story didn't happen at the store, so it's not on topic. But yeah, I would like to thank everyone that's was able to make it out and generously giving us your time. I really appreciate everyone continuing. Like I've made a lot of friends just from the store. Like we mentioned, Harry has become one of my best friends. He's on the show constantly now because we have so much in common and we want to keep talking about things. I think next week or the week after we're talking about Back to the Future because it's the 35th anniversary. So look forward to that. But we're talking about D&D. Tuesday night I play with Eric, who's one of I know from being a comic book customer. We just get to know each other. We have similar interests, and then COVID happened and we're like, hey, we can play this online, so let's just play it online. So we've been doing that then since. This whole show has been a way to kind of get everyone back together when at times when we can't physically do that. But it's also been nice because I can't physically hang out with you, Eleanor, so like I can kind of get everyone. We didn't even talk about your nickname situation that had happened.
Walter.
Yeah. Years ago when you were first starting with us, you're like, I want a nickname. I'm like, don't ask people to give you a nickname. You're not going to like what you get. So I just started calling you Walter and it kind of stuck. That was a fun running joke in the store too. You would do something funny, I'd be like, "Oh, Walter."
And we can't forget about New Tim, right? There was New Tim, and
we had New Tim. There's a couple of people that had nicknames at that.
There was New Tim after that.
And then Tim became more of a title than.
Yeah, Tim was.
I grew beyond myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a memorial penalty box at the store, and I'm still.
You do. Scott Fun
Memorial. Yeah.
But
never put that plaque up. But
that's what you're getting for Christmas this year.
Say Becca's still employee of the month. Mm-hmm. The one time we gave it out
every month running.
Yeah. The only time we've ever done that. I don't even remember what it was, but you did
Wait a
something
month,
above
you're
and
all
beyond. So
special.
like, let's do this for fun.
No, it was Joe asked for a cookie
Yeah.
because there was cookies upstairs when we were moving from downstairs to
Okay.
upstairs. So I went upstairs, got a cookie, and bought it to Joe. And Joe called me Employee of the Month, and that was it.
Yeah, I'll say I do feel
Above
bad
and
about that move to the upstairs, because the night we had to move it, I had to get like a emergency surgery on my shoulder, so I couldn't really like lift and move stuff. So I felt really guilty about not being able.
And I've been holding against you ever since. Don't worry about it.
But
Try
I came in the
leaving
next
5 years
morning
ago,
to,
bro.
But I came in the next morning to open up and stuff. So whatever.
You're a trooper.
Yeah, I do what I can. But
I still feel guilty for leaving, man. I still think about the store all the time. It's hard.
I
It's
appreciate that. It means a lot hearing that.
I think
though.
about you all the time too.
We can talk about that during D&D. The
Yeah.
the only job I've ever had where I'm like, I would go back in a heartbeat if I could.
Yeah, where you don't dread going into work every single day.
And I know Scott mentioned a little bit earlier too, but like every time I go to a video game store, I always look for that game for you also. Every time I go, I'm like, do they have this
Thank you.
game? So I will find it one day.
Because my joke's been like, all right, if we get Tim Crusader of Senti for like his birthday or something, you never have to buy him anything ever again.
Very true, especially now because it's only going up.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But that's sometimes that's just the how retro game market goes. But yeah, did anyone else have any final thoughts before we sign off here?
I just like it warms my heart to see like the store still thriving. Like I don't know, it was just a job for me when I was 19. I worked 1 day a week, and it was the shortest day of the week, and I love just seeing everyone. Just I don't know. I'm glad that the store is doing so well. I actually would love to talk to you all another time, just to because I feel like there's a lot about the store I don't know, like different changes that have happened. So, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
it'd be great to catch up.
I mean, like Scott said, like Ellie was literally our first hire, like legit hire after I think.
Yeah, the first over the table hire.
Yeah, after we moved to the mall. Because you guys we paid you guys, whoever was there.
Well,
too.
you paid me in comic books.
Okay, all right, this conversation is over.
Yeah.
We paid you fine. I thought we paid you when we came to the mall. Did we start paying everybody then?
You started giving me money when we came to the mall, but I started.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, but you hired out. You hired on the books before you.
You were over it. Don't worry about taxes. Don't mean nothing. Nobody.
We were going in such a good direction.
Yeah. Well, Greg and I are talking to each other. You know how that works.
Yeah, that's true.
But it was good to see everybody. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm really glad we were able to do this. I had a lot of fun.
Me too.
And yeah, again, thank you guys so much. But I guess with that, we'll sign off. Thanks to everyone for listening and watching. Subscribe and ring the bell and blah, 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 blah. You've been on the internet enough. You know how to keep following us.
Smash that like button.
Yes, smash the like button. But yeah, thanks everyone. So until next time, be safe out there.